All right, we're going live right now, so it's running and it's recording, baby.
Yes. Are we live or is it like the music?
It's live. I mean, I can play some
It's
music.
us.
I I
Oh
got
wait, hold on, let me
Limelight.
see.
I'll play Limelight. Such a good song too. Just give folks a chance to show up. Hey, Anne. All right. Um, JT, are you gonna have your camera on or? Whoop, he's not there. Okay. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, you're there?
Yeah, I was speaking, but it wasn't going through. I don't know what's going on.
It's okay. Anne's here. Anne says, "Yo, Limelight."
I was trying to say hi to Anne, but my mom was trying to get in between us.
Oh, dang. Okay. Are you turning on your camera or?
Yeah, I let me see.
Okay. I'll give you a second. I'm gonna grab some allergy medication and some tissue.
Let's see. Almost fixed.
All right.
Keeps
Okay.
leaving on me.
Yep, it's the right one. Okay. Oh. Wait, when you turned your camera on, your thing moved. So we'll see if I have to adjust things.
Okay. My camera keeps freezing, and I'm doing like the test app right now. Let's
Oh,
see what's
that's
going on.
unfortunate. Um.
Give me an opportunity to fix my hair.
Yeah, no problem. As you're doing that, what's up, Anne? What's new? What's going on? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to being the first in the chat, I should say. Allergy medication.
When you JT,
Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes.
My camera's
Thank you,
on
thank you.
now.
Your camera's on now?
Yes.
Okay, it hasn't changed. Oh, it did. Okay, we're just gonna have to move things a little because you're in the spot that I used to be in. So let's try. Okay, let's try this. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Oh, trial and error. Here we go. 200. Okay, and then we're gonna do bottom. We're gonna do 500, And top, we're gonna do 250. Well, we're getting close. We're getting close. We're getting close. Okay. Just gonna move. No, to the right, 150, maybe, and to the left, 700. No, that's wrong. I'm trying. What are you laughing at, JT?
I'm watching the stream and I'm like,
It looks ridiculous. It looks very silly. I am very aware.
no, I love this.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's try 100. 100 seems to have worked. Okay. I think this is fine, right? Why is your face frozen?
I don't know.
Oh,
See,
there it
this
is. There it is. Okay.
Okay,
Oh my
this
god.
is better. Oh my god. All right.
Oh boy. Wait, I can make this even better. Hold on. Believe, JT.
I'm believing.
Okay, 140, and then from the top, we're just gonna squeeze it a little. From the bottom, we're gonna make it. Nope, the bottom was perfect. The bottom was perfect. I was wrong. Come back.
Yeah, crop all that. Crop it down so all that remains is my nose.
Okay, I think. Okay, there we go. There you are.
Yes.
Oh, let me move the bubbles. Can I move them? Wait, no, that's wrong. Bubbles. This is a mess. It's just like last week. Okay, there. We're just gonna move the bubbles over there.
Aw.
Where they don't interrupt things.
Wow. The quality on my camera is like giving. I don't know what it's giving like Android 2012.
Android 2012. Amazing. Okay. Well, there we go. Okay. So, JT, what are we doing today?
Today we are doing commentary on the Preludes, episodes 0A, 0B, 0C, and the first half of the pilot. And we have a special guest.
Mm-hmm. We do. Who we announced on our social media. But, when he arrives, we'll have to do this camera finagling all over again. Except twice. Ooh. Ooh is correct,
So
Anne.
yes, everybody hold on to your horses. Get ready.
Get ready. Oh, man. Well, what should we do? Should we chat for a little bit while we wait for the guest, or should we get started? What are you thinking?
Yeah, let's chat. Yeah, what do we want to chat about? What are we go? So, what do you have a philosophy of what kind of things you're gonna comment on? I know you love to take notes and prepare. Did you already prepare what you're gonna say, or are you gonna wing it? I'm winging it tonight, baby.
I am doing something incredibly outside of my comfort zone, which is, I'm winging it. I was going to do research beforehand.
Oh my god.
You
No,
know,
good for you. That's good.
I'm trying not to shit myself right now, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. The good thing is, I always have something to say to my detriment, of course, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Same. Yeah. I'm excited. It's going to be useful. It's going to be interesting because you have, moments in directing that you'll be able to kind of talk on a bit. I could talk a little bit about sound design. I'm excited to get to those moments where we had to make our own Foley because the internet just simply could not provide. I love those moments in season 1,
Oh boy, yeah. Like the creaky wheels in the mines but that's
Absolutely.
further down. Man, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And we're starting with the very first episode that was written, which is the episode you wrote.
Maybe it's just in your background. Hold
Oh,
on.
mic issues, really? Okay.
That's weird. Let's figure it out, folks. Okay. Oh, hold on. Dusty Ann, is this better?
Oh my
I
gosh.
think the answer will be yes.
Yeah, that's I you sound clearer.
And coming through in clutch. Thank you. It automatically switched to my damn webcam mic.
Oh, that's why. Crisp and clear, Anne says.
I need this light to go out because it's making me look. It's like the diva filter is really
Very
in.
diva.
Okay, that's better.
LOL,
It's
not the webcam mic.
oh my God.
Oh boy.
Um,
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So, okay, like we can start by giving some background to things. There's not a whole lot of people here yet. Wait, should we post that we're live?
absolutely. Yeah, that's probably a fundamental part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you want to
Uh,
do Twitter? I'll do Instagram, or vice versa.
yes, yes.
Okay. Ba ba ba. Picture time, folks. Well, that's my face. We're
Okay.
live. We're here.
Save photo. Post photo. We're live.
Live, and then I'll add the link. The amount of times I've had to write our Twitch handle today has been insane. That'll do. Okay. Yeah, but I think, you know, if and when people show up, they show up. And either way, these VODs have been going up on the YouTube. So later today, the one from last week, the cooking stream, which was a crazy, crazy technical disaster, but also very fun. Especially the trivia portion.
I I thought it had a three-act structure to it.
3 act structure. Yeah, totally. It was fun. It was great.
Oh, we have an important update from our special guest. The Discord link is not working.
Oh,
He needs help.
Chlep. Okay. Let me send Chlep. Uh, hmm. Invite. Also email.
Oh, okay. I know one thing. Okay, so
What?
while we're waiting for our special guest, general tips because so we're going to lead into the making and the whatever the cat acting of the prelude, which is the first thing that we recorded and produced. Key tips for producing an audio drama. Um, Things that we learned along the way that you should probably know. Um, Number one, it is from a sound designer's perspective, it is absolutely useful in doing a crash course in
Oh.
the basics of sound design. Like go online, go on YouTube, do a master class. I don't know, do something when it comes to balancing sound and spikes and things like that. Because if you do it early on instead of learning along the way, it's really gonna help. and you want that to be a muscle memory because you're going to have a lot of sounds to fix and balance, and you want to be as fast but accurate as possible.
Oh, GT.
He's in the wrong voice channel.
Yes, I think you need to add him to the team first.
I see.
For him to see it.
We love to add roles. All right. He's added as a team member.
Okay. Oh, what? There we go. Okay. I may have to adjust things.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my god, hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. Does everybody have their video on and just not me? I don't see anybody.
Yeah, you can turn yours on or leave yours off. Up to you. Either way. Well, looks like he's turning it on. Oh, there he is. He's in the corner now. Now I gotta adjust GT. Here we go. Fun
Hey.
times. What? Okay. Okay. Let's do 950. I don't know what I'm doing. We're figuring this out. It's great. Everything's fine.
Going great, you guys.
How's your day, Dan? Also, welcome.
Oh, fine. Thanks. This is the first one of these I've ever done. How does it work? What do I do?
You know, we've been winging it like every single week. So
Sick.
it's you know about as much as we do. We're just having fun more than anything.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Awful.
Who likes
I was
fun?
thinking about it earlier. I was like, do we do it like the movies do, where you just let the thing keep running. You don't pause it to make your commentary. You just let the baby keep running, right? Like that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we just let the baby keep running.
Okay, great.
Like a man.
What are we doing to the baby?
Launching the baby and not letting it ever stop.
Yeah.
Into space.
What? What's happened? Whoop, there we go. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. It's
Folks,
all
we
set
have
up.
our special guest. Dan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hi,
man.
I'm Dan. Hello. Oh, I see what's happening. I can't see my own video, but you guys can. There. Okay. Now. Okay. Good. Hello. I am Dan. I play Charles and Charles's dad, and I think that's it.
So far, yes, I think so.
So far, yes. I know when I
Yeah.
signed up, I was definitely like, I want let me play everybody. I'm very much a a let me play the lion too kind of actor. So so hopefully I can finagle my way into playing more and more and more characters.
Yes.
There will definitely
Yes,
be places.
and yeah, there are plans for that. And so yeah, Dan plays Charles and Charles's dad, and the first prelude that we have is the prelude that focuses on Charles and his introduction to the story. And
Yes.
we're gonna roll through it, and this is the first one that you recorded as well, right, Dan? Like you didn't record out of order. I think this was the first time we met up and recorded with you.
You're talking about our introduction to Charles?
Yeah.
Just in general, I think this is the very first thing that we recorded.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
It's been so long. It's just been so
Oh.
long.
So
Ages
many
ago.
years ago.
It's like 3 houses ago, man. I don't really know where. I can't remember where I
That's
was
true.
living at the time we started.
That is true. You were in LA for a little bit, and then you left, and then
Now I'm back in LA.
Yeah, now you're back. That's crazy.
The Avenue.
So much.
Apparently, my returning is what drove Anne to Hawaii.
and left a while ago. Yeah. Dang.
He's coming back. I'm out of here. Fuck this.
Anne is in the chat, and Anne has said, Dan King.
I'm a king now.
Yeah.
Yay! It's to Connor, I'm her short king. I am Connor's also very short king. Hey, before we go any further, is the link that you sent me something that I could, if she were so inclined, send to my dear, sweet, beloved human, and she could listen in?
Yeah, it might be easier for her to just check out the Twitch link.
Okay.
And watch that. Because of the
Got it.
Discord, I might have to move a bunch of cameras around again.
Don't want that. We don't want that.
I mean, I can do it. I'm getting very good at it.
I believe. I believe.
But the Twitch is just let me hold on.
My girlfriend wants to watch me.
Your fiance.
My fiance.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Go to team chat maybe and wait, what am I doing? Yeah, that's dumb.
It's going great, guys.
Very
I've
Go
got
great.
too
for
much
hands,
trouble.
fingers, wrists.
I know. I sent that to our new dialogue editor because he was having a hard time.
Oh dear God. Why would I go to Twitch?
Yeah.
Radio.
Twitch.tv/radio outcast.
Oh, weird. Now I can see myself.
Yeah.
Oh, so now I can hear everything. Oh, this is a nightmare. Wow, fascinating. The internet is scary, guys. The future is
Absolutely.
real.
That's what they keep saying.
Amazing.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm done being the inept old person. I think I can now engage
You're
with
totally fine. And you're not that old. You need to stop that. Though I was rewatching a bunch of our Zoom calls, right? To do the behind the scenes videos and stuff. Because 2B is going to go out soon. And I was watching that, and it reminded me that we did, in fact, ask you what your age was, and you refused to answer.
It's that behavior that somebody told me once was charming that I simply can't quit.
Totally fair. It is charming. It's very fun.
It's a fun game for me and nobody else. Ha ha ha.
All right, so let's start over. Or start for the fourth time. I'm not really sure where we're at. Anne said we don't know to this day what his age is, which is true.
It's a mystery.
Mystery to us all. So what we're gonna do is hopefully, since you're all on Discord, you're able to see my live stream on Discord, which will let you watch the episode or listen to the episode Charles the Con Man A-side with me, and we should be able to listen to it together, go through it together. I can pause the episode as we're going through and talking about it. Yeah, anything that comes to mind. Any quip? I know you have plenty of those, Dan, and any amazing insight, which I also know JT has a bunch of. So it'll
Let's do it.
be a fun time. We're doing this for the first time, and we'll see how it goes. But I think it'll be exciting. And also, this is kind of great because this is the first time we've seen Dan in like ages.
In a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
I think I was still in New Mexico at the time.
Yeah, you were. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was before you started teaching.
Right.
A story for another time, I'm sure. But yeah, do you all want to do any? Oh, Jade answered. That's exciting. Sorry, I got distracted. Well, and more book cleaning crew. Welcome.
That's me. I'm now following the chat.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I gotta move the alerts too. Can't see them anymore. JT's face is covering it.
Are you guys not hip to Ankh-Morpork? Is that not a reference that resonates with y'all?
I'm not hip to many things, to be quite honest. Newt
That's a
had to
Terry
explain.
Pratchett.
Oh, really?
That's Terry Pratchett.
I
Yeah.
do like Terry Pratchett.
His main franchise all takes place most of it takes place in a fictionalized version of London called Ankh-Morpork.
Oh.
But it all, happens on a world that is a giant disc that rests on the back of four elephants that
Discworld.
themselves
This is
rest
the
on. Yeah,
Discworld?
the Discworld.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Mhm.
I've never actually
it's
read it because there's
So
so
fun.
many.
So
And I
fun.
don't know where to
Read those.
start.
Yeah, I mean, it starts off as just a send up of like high fantasy tropes,
Mhm.
and he does a good amount of that. But as is always the case with British satirists, once he figured out the sort of once he got his stride, he could not help himself but start seriously commenting on contemporary society in really delightful ways.
Oh.
And like, how many books are in this series? Like 15?
No, there's
30.
yeah.
Easy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. There's
God.
like, there's so many, JT. I've
was
been wanting to get into it,
superhuman.
but I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed by choice, so of course I don't choose.
If I may,
Yeah.
and this is just coming from like a dyed in the wool. He got me when I was young,
Mhm.
but the great thing about the Discworld is though there are like 30 books, they're not 30 consecutive
Linear.
books.
Yeah, they're not linear.
There's multiple plot lines that are happening concurrently and they interweave.
Yeah.
So it's basically what cast are you interested in? And then that cast of characters within the Discworld saga has a series of books that you can follow from point A to point
I love
whatever.
that.
Yeah, I
So-
remember when I was looking into it and thinking about starting it, I was like, I'm gonna start by reading all the death stuff, and then I was just like, I
Mhm.
don't know where
Death
to
is
start
great.
with that
We
either.
love death.
Oh man, you know, this might be the motivation to actually start reading the Discworld series. Terry Pratchett's great. So
Harry Potter's great. It's basically Death, the Wizards, the Witches, the City Watch, and then towards the end of Pratchett's career and life,
Mm.
it was a character that was basically the government. You know, it basically became. So in all these stories, you have like one point of access character into the world, and for this one, for the government, it's a con man who's literally publicly hanged to within like an inch of his life is given a second lease on life as a con man for the government. Like the whole joke is that the only people that could really properly operate in a misfunctioning bureaucracy are themselves con men or con persons.
yeah, Derek,
It's great.
that's honestly a very apt place to start this whole thing with. To
Oh,
be
yeah.
honest,
The
yeah,
con man.
the con man.
Didn't even do that on purpose. All my favorite characters are con men. Yikes!
Wasn't that like what you auditioned with too? You were talking about another conman that you played, I think. Or I might be wrong. I might be misremembering. But
I like. I don't remember. Don't remember. It's possible.
who knows? It was so
Play the
long
thing.
ago. It was so long ago, and also I'm sure very many auditions ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, very many auditions, not nearly as many bookings.
But still. Anne says character with mustache in any case.
Yes, always a character with a mustache. I might be a character with a mustache in my own wedding. Connor has told me in no uncertain terms that she's a fan. And
Oh, amazing.
I would do well to show up with a big stupid mustache at my wedding.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Is that how I want the photographer that I hired to take pictures of my wedding to, commemorate the happiest day of my life? I don't know. But it'd be pretty funny.
I mean, funny and happy they're like both in the same realm, so.
Right?
All right. Okay. So, Charles the Con Man, A side. Let's just get into it, and yeah. Hopefully the volume is all right, and if it's not, I'm sure Anne or somebody else in the chat, or any lurkers might.
I have the Twitch
let us
open so
know.
I can check.
Oh, perfect. I'm gonna watch the levels, and hopefully that'll help, but we'll see. Radio Outcast is a harebrained gunslinging podcast for mature audiences. Content warning. This episode contains depictions of violence, guns, and
Sounds like
gunshots
it's a good
halfway
level. I
through
mean,
the
from what I'm
episode that
seeing and
may be
what I'm
upsetting
hearing in
for some
Twitch.
listeners.
Okay, perfect.
We encourage
And
our
can
listeners
cooperate
to
or
prioritize their safety
otherwise.
before venturing.
The
further.
waveform looks super stable,
Thank you.
so that's always nice.
That is fair.
So who animates the wave? Like what? How do you do this?
And
Because I've always wondered that.
you
seeing
do it
this-
on Premiere. No, wait, After Effects, I think. You have to do waveforms on After Effects, yeah.
Looks great.
Anne says sounds good. Okay, perfect.
Beautiful theme song.
Samuel Kinsella.
You know, I just watched the most recent installation of Stranger Things episodes, and the sort of synthy western is serving up some serious 80s high fantasy vibes for me.
Here he comes.
Ooh.
February 2, 1887. For today, I am Charles Osgood. Last eve, I met the most curious individual in all of America. Yes, even more so than I.
I really do just love the sound of my own voice, don't I?
You should.
You really should. That's a great voice.
Funny, earlier today, so my desk is adjacent my soon-to-be father-in-law's. He just gave me like 3 square feet of office space in his office, and he is a voice actor of no small renown. And so it's funny, he just did something very similar to this with a bunch of voice actors that were also in Fallout.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
So this feels very much like, coming to get you, Paul. I'm coming to take it from you, man. Coming to take your jobs. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. This is exactly how it's gonna roll, I think,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could you try turning it up a little bit,
A
Fernanda?
mysterious
I
woman
can't.
commanded
I can
upon
turn you
me
down, but I
this
can't turn it up.
device.
Oh, okay.
The Sony machine, I believe it is called, S-O-N-Y.
So why did you guys
I am to
start
use
with
this metal box
Charles?
as
You know,
one might
you've got
a
this
diary.
array of characters to be your introduction to the audience. What made you start with a con person?
Man, that was so long ago. I know that Charles was the one that we changed the most. So I had written like the first original test script on my own, and then I brought that to JT, and we deconstructed literally everything. And the first thing that like was stripped completely was Charles. Charles was so boring before. It was so boring before. So I remember when we were talking about the preludes and doing these like character introductions, we were just like, okay, Charles, Helix, Jesse. We decided very early on that JT would write the first Charles like introduction because he was the one who basically recreated from the ground up what Charles would be and what he would look like. I would do Jesse's, and then we would write Helix's together.
Okay.
So I just remember that for the first round, JT and I went back home. We each wrote Charles and Jesse, and then we came back and we looked through it. But I don't remember when we decided that Charles would go first. I feel like that was just a given.
I think it was, we wrote the preludes, and then we had a conversation about how do we get people on board with this like wacky Western concept, because you kind of have to give them what they know first. You gotta hook them. And so we knew it was either going to be Jesse or Charles, and it just so happens that the events of Jesse are disconnected from Helix. So we were like, okay, do we put that first and then hit them with 2 episodes back to back, Helix and Emmy, and then Emmy approaches Charles? Or do we hit them with that and then give them Jesse, and they're like, how is this going to connect? And so I think we ultimately went with the second choice, which is let's have them imagine how Jesse is going to end up getting tied into this whole, hellfire.
Yeah. That does sound right.
Always comes down to the audience experience of what do they need, what do they think they need, right? Versus what do they actually need to track the narrative in a way that, because I'm sure that we as listeners would have enjoyed it as much if we had been a little flabbergasted, but I think the way that you structured it set us up to track the action pretty clearly as a welcome to our strange little world. Especially, I can't not imagine Charles as having one of those, Spy Boys. What was it? They used it in the original Home Alone. Macaulay Culkin popularized this toy Oh no.
I feel like I should know this, not gonna lie,
Hold
but
on.
most of the times I've watched Home Alone were in Spanish, to be fair, on Telemundo, so I don't know how helpful I'll be.
Talk Boy? Is that what it was? Yeah, it was a Home Alone Talk Boy.
Home Alone
Oh my
Talk
God,
Boy.
these things were they were everywhere.
Tiger
But
Talk
I
Boy,
imagine
Anne
Charles is having
says.
A tiger talk boy. That's what Anne
yeah.
says. I have to look that up.
Yeah,
Dude.
that sounds amazing.
Oh,
Anyways,
this is
sorry.
cute.
Right, like because it's got that like projected mouthpiece, and it's got the speaker right there, and it's got like effects that you can do to the audio, like built into it.
This is
Yeah,
Which is-
Should
I
I?
love this.
It's like which is a big part of how Macaulay Culkin outsmarts the bad guys.
I mean,
I want
can
one of
look
these
this up and
now.
Put it up. Look,
Right.
let's show Tiger Talk Boy.
Right? Look at that. Look at that thing.
Oh, this is amazing.
And there's Macaulay
There he is.
looking exactly the way that he would go on to look 30 years later.
Exactly. No changes
Oh,
whatsoever.
amazing.
This is so good.
They don't make it like they used to. What is that coming out of the top right? Is that what
That's
you
the mouthpiece.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's what you talk to.
Oh my god.
Got a little microphone, man.
You can poke your eye out with that.
So good.
It was playing with my first Talk Boy that I knew I was. I never owned one, actually. I only
The
played with
watch? No.
Oh yeah, dude. Everything was a watch back then.
That's amazing. Oh, they have a pink one for girls.
I bet you it costs more.
Yeah, I'm
For
sure it
Charles.
is.
Charles would get the pink one. Sweet Charles.
Sweet,
Ooh,
sweet
blue
Charles.
one.
Well, his father would buy him the gray one, but then he would paint it pink.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Purple? Oh, that's pink. That's pink. Oh,
Yeah.
blue.
Oh, a pin and everything. That's so fun.
Oh, man.
Boy. Oh, okay. Back
Thank you
in?
for holding my hand during that little walk down memory lane.
No, that was so good. I never even thought about that. Like, yeah. Just, like, you're making me remember Home Alone just by bringing that up.
You're welcome.
So,
Who doesn't want an opportunity to remember Home Alone?
yeah, who doesn't? It's so good. It's basically Christmas, right? It's June, so
Yeah.
July is right around
Yeah,
the corner.
June gloom basically means that it's Christmas time.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody knows that.
yeah. When you see the the fires in California, the Santa Ana winds, it's Christmas.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's move on.
I feel like we can just let
Press
it
one
run,
button and
because
another,
otherwise
and
we'll
then
probably
speak toward it
never
as
get
I
through
am
them.
now. Truly a wonder. I confess, I think the woman may be some sort of angel or demonic being. She possessed a power. I question what I've. Never mind.
Yeah, it's interesting.
My bargain
These
was
the
extended to me,
production
I've
for
committed.
the prelude has the sound effect of Charles speaking into
I
a
sure
Walkman.
do
Like you have that like kind
Oh,
of
yeah, that
fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we removed that for
For
the rest of the
today, I am
season. But I think
also
that was a smart choice. Like the whole first episode is in that machine, but afterward you just have Charles like everybody else. Like it sounds clear.
Now I
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
myself riding this train route westward for reasons obscure. I'm to disembark.
Yeah, it gives
in
it
some
sort of a found
depths
footage quality. You know,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
like
Lone
you
Flats,
found
the
this
New Mexico
package of tapes in a tin in the basement of like,
what
you
are
know,
the chances
a
I've
long lost
consigned
shack.
myself
Like
into the
you know, it
devil's
just begs the question
Congress?
of whereas, you
Well,
know, making it just
I
clean
suppose
audio
God
makes it
hasn't
sound a bit
abandoned me,
more
anyhow.
present tense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
I imagine.
Virginia must be 100 miles behind me. If I'm to make a diary of this Sony machine, I suppose I shall narrate from the beginning.
Ooh, all the coughs we made you do.
God bless you. You made me do them at the end of the day, though.
here's the party.
The gentleman with the obnoxious caw, that's J.W.
I was definitely one of the
Powell,
assholes
director
laughing.
for
That's
the
I remember.
Geological
I remember
Survey,
being a part of that recording session too.
lounging in his
Oh,
Virginia
yeah.
mansion, passing the
Just
whiskey
getting all of you
grind.
to laugh.
Oh, Mr. President, you can't.
There's lovely Griffin.
Indeed,
Griffin.
it was President Cleveland.
I said to her,
Oh, and
Madam,
Ivory?
I've not
Ivory
seen
the
your missing
president.
calf. In fact, I've not seen higher than your ankle.
That laugh.
Ain't heard that before.
In fact, I've heard that one far too many times.
Say, you seem a fresh face here. What was your name again, good sir?
Matthews. Roy Matthews, chairman for the Texas Cartographers Guild, headquartered out in Abilene.
Amazing.
It's sure a
Takes me
pleasure,
back
Mr.
home.
President.
Here we go. The
Mr.
con.
Matthews is my expert guest for the evening. He wrote me directly, as a matter of fact, pledging his expertise in the Utah regions.
Yes, sir. When I heard Washington might be looking at a unified Utah for
That,
statehood,
that,
I
Warsh,
figured,
that
shoot,
Washington.
if my quiver ain't right and full.
So proud of it. I heard it just now. I was like, Washington. I stand by that.
Absolutely.
It's so good.
Apologies, Mr. President. You know how those Texans can be. Odd-spoken and gun-toting.
and tobacco smoking.
Still love that line.
All of the layers of Dan's different laughs. It's so amazing.
I feel like this first episode
that would
is me
explain
doing
the
my
rough
like
accent.
really
Go on.
hardest Kevin Kline
Squeeze it
impersonation
out.
I've ever. I just recently went back and rewatched French Kiss,
Now,
and even with a bad
Mr.
French accent, you're like,
Matthews,
that's Kevin Kline.
You said
You
you're
can't tell
an
me that's not
expert
Kevin
in
Kline.
the
And I'm
regions
trying
of
my
Utah.
best to talk
Yes,
just like
Roy.
him.
Do share with him your ventures across the High Valley and your spars with the Mormon locals.
Ooh, the Mormon
Oh,
local.
how they
Yeah.
hoarded
Put a
silver.
bit of pepper on that Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
Even the greatest of cons can become undone by the unexpected and the unknown. First came the unexpected.
What in God's good name?
Say,
Texans and their goddamned guns.
My name is Roy Matthews.
Yeah, it is.
And that hoodlum has stolen my name, my status, and my maps.
Griffin round
And his
two.
mustache.
Is this true?
Oh, and the
No,
mustache.
this
that's
can't
true.
be. Mr. President, I assure you that I had no idea.
Well, hell, they all turned to look at me, didn't they?
Delivery on that line is
The
fucking
United
S tier.
goddamn United States and a mustachioed Texan with a gun.
Pistachio Texan?
Or
A Texan that really loves
it was
pistachios.
an immaculate con. It must have been, yes, a setup.
I see you looking at that door, thief. You take one false step, I'll blow your bowels to Tuscaloosa and back.
I'll pardon that crime on impact.
Please, nail blood on the Oshak rug. I just had it imported.
gentlemen, I can assure you.
You can assure me nothing.
That heartbeat.
Mr. President, Director Powell, folks,
Here
let
comes
me
the
show y'all how
sci-fi.
we handle crooks.
Oh yeah, it's
down in
getting
Texas.
super spacey.
Yeah. Watching the waveform
It's
is
as they
sick for
say.
that moment.
Yeah,
Moments
dude.
before
That
I
looks-
died,
it looks
I
super
saw
space.
visions of a possible life rendered into flashes of sorrow and ecstasy. I
damn it.
envisioned
You
escaping
can't let me
as
do
con
stuff like
man's
that, guys.
force,
It's good.
building
It's
a
so
so
good.
home back in Utah with a
I
turn,
insist that you do more of it, to be honest.
a loving family. Perhaps love. My circumstances forbade me from either.
This
which
close to saying
became a tribunal,
circumcision. I
and
can
was soon
hear it
cast
with
out
my
into ruthless hours. Have
circumcision.
you heard this term, unconditional love? You should know that love is always conditional. But the bullet hovered before me. Moments before the strike, I could extend my index finger and poke it. It seemed that time had yawned. It seemed I would survive. But did I want to survive? It'd mean more deceptions, more fleeing between the alleys and a stolen coat, forever glancing over my shoulder. Each day is another name and another story. 26 years of surviving.
That's how old I am. I'm 26.
Magically younger than us now.
My
Yeah,
God.
I've always it's always been my secret.
See
Yep.
the look on your face.
Here comes Anne.
She's bad.
Even now, with a full day's consideration, I cannot accurately detail this strange, blonde woman. She seemed entirely not of this world.
That's exactly what I thought about Anne when I met Anne. She seems
Really?
entirely not of this world.
You'll like it? Here, just take this, okay?
Despite her petite stature, this woman carried herself with presidential gravitas. Perhaps it was the 6-inch heels, no? She strutted around the parlor with a bedazzled pocket watch swinging from her hip. Had my wits been about me, I'd have asked her for the time, considering time had just been frozen. But my instincts told me to keep quiet. She stopped short before me and reached into a pink handbag. She unveiled a small metal box, a device I now refer to as the Sonny machine.
I want to
Little
make
Sonny.
a deal with
Good old
you,
Sonny.
Mr. whatever your name is. You see this shiny bullet here? The one that's like 2 inches from entering your pink, mushy little brain? Well,
Weirdly gross
you
about the
can
brain
thank
stuff,
moi
but okay.
for that.
Do I
See,
remember Anne
we
not being
only
like rock solid
just
on what a Valley
met,
Girl
and
sounded
I'm
like? Like
already,
for
like your complete savior.
am I crazy or did we have to like
We had-
teach Anne the Valley Girl accent?
We
a
had to
little?
teach Anne the Valley Girl
So,
accent.
Which is
It's
amazing
not
because
like
aren't like all of you from California?
I am. No. JT is from Texas.
What year are
Anne
we
is
in?
from
900?
Idaho, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me
It is
rephrase. Didn't all of you
1887
watch
mistress.
television growing up? Because I feel like the Valley Girl accent. Like I mean, she obviously like Anne's obviously got it. Like you hear the voice like, oh yeah, this person is totally nailing the Valley Girl.
What?
It's just
You
so.
don't think I know
I just remember being like,
everything about you?
Who doesn't know what a Valley Girl sounds?
Anne is contesting this in the chat.
I'll see you in the chat, Anne. What do you got to say? What do
Oh,
you got?
okay. Here we go. Anne says Fernanda tried to get me to do vocal fry, and I said no. Valley girls don't do vocal fry.
And simple for you, okay?
Which is all they do.
Yeah, it's
That's
all
all
they
they
do.
are.
And it was here.
She said it wasn't me, it was
that I knew
Fernanda,
this
and
woman
it is
was
true.
not
I
of
insisted on the
normal
vocal fry,
type.
which you do include, and it sounds
you
great.
go by the name
Yeah.
Charles
The vocal fry is a good
Osborne,
note. It's good
but
feedback.
I know your true name, and you're dying.
And said
And
no.
somebody who was actually just
Sure,
teaching a voice class not
but
too long ago,
you're
I spent
just
so much time like trying to
It's gonna get
parse
even
out
more painful.
the line between
Super ugly.
like vocal fry
Until
is
you're
fine. If that's how you talk, that's
1887,
fine. But
biggest
like
barf
as an
bag
actor
in all
and as a
of
voice actor,
America.
especially because I was teaching a
You'll be
voiceover class.
totally
As a voice
bedridden,
actor, it's
roughing up
helpful to be
blood
able
guts
to
until-
put that away
You get the
when you
picture, yeah?
want to. Because there were just a couple of the actors in the class that just like
No family
because they had been
allowed
doing
to,
Fitzmaurice work, which is very much about freeing your
What
voice, like how do
bullshit.
you talk.
For you,
The
probably
the language of empowerment was really getting in the way of me getting
but
anything
you've
done.
got big
Uh,
plans,
because
Mr.
they didn't want to be
Whoever
told
you think
to
you
do
are.
anything with their voice
Big
other
plans for a
than
human,
talk
that
like
is.
themselves, because that's what they'd been hearing the whole time.
You'll never see them come to fruition.
Yeah, but there's a lot of sexism
without
wrapped
moi.
up into people's attitudes towards vocal fry. I have found there's like
Totally.
papers written on it and stuff.
Well, there's like an entire movie about this, wasn't there? Well, not an entire movie about this, but there's this movie that I remember. I forget the actor because I'm bad with names. But she was like she just did voiceover, and she did this whole. There was like this whole section that was just about vocal fry and like what that did in terms of sexism in the voiceover community.
Yeah, well, and I mean, if you look at like so many popular podcasters and voice actors and actors, they live in their vocal fry. They live on their chords.
Right.
But you know, it's different if you're a man.
Yeah.
Like One of my favorite journalistic podcasters, Ezra Klein, very articulate, very smart, but he's always vocal fried, in a way that if he were an actor in my class, I could dream. If he were an actor in my class, I'd be like, dude, we gotta like, there needs to be a conversation about, are you doing something that is unhealthy for your voice?
Right.
Yeah.
But nobody questions whether or not like Ezra Klein is articulate or well educated because he has vocal fry. But if a woman walks into it, if a femme-bodied person walks into an audition and they have vocal fry, they're immediately thought less of by
Yeah.
so many casting
Yeah, there's like a
directors.
question of intelligence and things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
absolutely.
it's super dumb.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for letting me rant about representation and voice acting.
No, it's a good tangent, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
Anne is very active in the chat, so
I see it. Poor Anne. Listen, Anne. Whether or not you want to admit that you were doing vocal fry, there's a little bit of fry. There's a little bit of fry.
it's subtle, you know.
The Joker moment happening in the chat.
She's having one bad twitch.
Yeah, it didn't have to be like Kardashian level vocal fry, you know.
I love the vocal fry, but that's not surprising. I have some vocal fry. I love it. So
You like it because like what is it? See, now I'm curious. What do you like about vocal fry?
well, mine's a little. I guess like I'm a little biased, but have you ever seen the movie? I think it's on Netflix called "Do I Sound Gay?" Or it's like a. Do you know about that? And it's like people who
No.
have, like gay voice. So like, talk about underrepresented in podcasts. I can't name. Gay voice is just not casted, you know, in
Yeah.
audio drama. And maybe in voice acting in general. Like I remember hearing it on a Cartoon Network show. Like maybe I heard it on Steven Universe, and I was like, wow, like a vocal fry, lispy gay voice has actually got a voice acting job. It was really surprising to me. So it kind of goes hand in hand with something that I was already looking for, but vocal fry alone, I love that sort of like, I think I hear Mariah Carey has it quite a bit too. This is a very good conversation I'm giving, but yeah, like I love it. Yeah. And I'd love to see more of it. Yeah, voice acting women, but like especially just in what I've been doing and researching for another project, like yeah, the gay voice and the vocal fry too. Yeah, just they aren't casted. Yeah, or like they aren't used. So we need there's vocal fry and Emmy. Yeah, we support the vocal fry here. This is the community.
This is the
I feel like
community.
the new show by the team that was doing Big Mouth, Human Resources.
Oh yeah.
That Human Resources and frankly Big Mouth I think had more representation in their vocal types than previously, but also I want to push against that there wasn't queer coded voices in animation, only because that's who the bad guys are always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, you don't get to just sound like a gay guy. You have to sound like an evil gay guy.
Yeah. And it wasn't drawn together. Like it was always the punchline or the villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm remembering oh God, was it Powerpuff Girls that had him?
Yeah.
Oh, but we stan.
We love
I mean,
him.
No, I mean, listen, an amazing character. We love the Powerpuff Girls. I mean, that animator's body of work is extraordinary.
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
You know, but it's the cis little Powerpuff Girls, and they're like children, so obviously we're not seeing them sexualized. But like, him is like such a. It's like if you took all of Tim Curry's essence and like rendered it down to ink and then drew a character. That's the natural manifestation of who Tim Curry is at his core.
Oh yes. Oh, it's amazing. Now I want to watch Powerpuff Girls again.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
There we go.
Emmy, the most fabulous goddess of time and one of the ancient.
You can help me to.
Don't interrupt me when I'm trying to save your life. Got it?
That dynamic.
And then she extended the Sani machine toward me.
Take this. You'll use it do you have diaries in these days? Whatever. It's sort of like a diary, but no one wants to hear your personal little sob story. So this is more like a detective diary, okay? Because there's someone I need you to follow. Do this, and I'll keep you alive or whatever. Got it?
I took the Sani machine from her hands, and I listened to her instructions. The mistress provided me a mission, a person I must locate and follow, even if it takes me across all of America. She provided me enough details to begin the journey. I'm to search for a woman not of this world. That was the complete description. The mistress warned me that no matter
That's
where
such
I
a
am, however, I
that's such a
might
classic
hide
way
or
of setting up a
try to
story, right? It's
disguise
just
myself if I choose to
give a
do
character a
so,
quest,
and
send him on a road
the
trip.
bullet will most
Yep.
certainly
Hell yeah.
return for me.
Starting off
That's
with
that
I will
D&D
die
experience me and Fernanda
alone,
have.
Hell yeah, give me that.
forgotten.
that call to
You know,
action.
if you want to make it super Tolkien, we should end up back in the parlor of that dude
Forgotten?
from the beginning of this episode.
Oh.
Bring it all the way back to where we started.
Stick around for season 3, the finale.
Back in the Cartographers Guild. Here we go.
Charles in a room with a bullet. That's a Tori Amos song, right?
I hope so.
It should be. Oof. A little sound effect. Is that it?
Radio Outcast
Yeah.
was created by
Credits.
myself,
Now we have
Vivo
the
Casera, and
credits.
JT
Yay, bravo.
Produced by
Well done,
Anne.
everybody.
Good job.
starring Daniel A. Stevens as Charles Osgood,
Oh, that's you.
Anne Hughes as the train attendant and Emmy, Griffin.
Oh boy.
Ugh.
Well, that's the first one. Do y'all
Well,
want to?
lovely.
That was a fun one. I still stand by that being like, it was such a. I remember when JT brought in that script, I was just like, this is so funny and it's so fun. I'm so happy you wrote this one.
Charles is a fun character too. He's such a slimy ambassador on behalf of the world.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wants to be so above everything, but I feel like he's the most like invested in the world as it has been presented to him, and in finding a place in that, rather than Jesse, who's on this like epic quest, and Helix, who just wants to get the F out of here.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put, all three. Yeah, Jesse's like, this is not a gilded age. It was never a gilded age. And Charles is like, keep it down. Keep it down. Like,
Keep it down. Some of us are trying to have a good time over here.
yeah.
Yeah, Charles is very much a man of flesh and booze. He's
Oh, yeah.
I respect a simple man of hedonistic pleasure.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to describe it.
Guys, I gotta jump off, but are we gonna do this again sometime? Like, can I come to the next one?
Yeah, we were talking about doing more of these. We're probably gonna keep going, doing a few more, and then
Cool.
yeah, but we'll definitely let you know for the next one. Very happy that you
Sweet.
were able to join us,
Yeah,
even for a
thanks
little
for
bit.
joining us, Dan.
What a pleasure! Oh my god, I love listening to me talk. What a tacky asshole! I show up for the one that I'm in, and then I leave. Great.
It's
perfect.
method acting. It's Charles,
yeah.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
here for me. All right, y'all.
Oh, man.
Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, Dan.
Bye. Say hi
Thanks
to
for
Connor
coming.
from us.
How the fuck do I get out of this thing? There, big red button. Okay, bye. Big red button. Bye.
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 Okay, time to redo
Aw.
this. Oh wait, no, I don't have to. This is perfect. Here we go. There it is. Okay. Oh boy. Well, that was fun.
I love seeing Dan.
I know. It's so nice. I'm gonna move the bubbles down here instead. Ugh, okay. Well, what are we thinking, chat? Anne, any thoughts? Any questions from the peanut gallery?
Yeah, for those listening, like we're about to enter the heavens, and
I'm not
Anne
talking
is refusing to cross the cross the picket line because there's currently a test against Fernanda directing Vocal Fry.
Okay, like we're swinging back around to the vocal fry conversation. I'm just saying, like, as somebody from California who's like grown up here forever, I wanted to make sure we got it right. And there's like fucking vocal fry. and, and don't come at me with, have you seen Valley Girl? Of course I have. It has Nicolas Cage in it, and he's great. And I watch all of his movies, even though it's mostly for the memes. You know, like, yeah, of course I've seen it. It's great.
Have you seen Mandy? I really
No,
want to
I
see Mandy.
haven't. I've been meaning to see it. That one came out while we were still in undergrad, or not undergrad, graduate school.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It looks like techno apocalypse. I don't know. I don't know what the genre of that would be, but it looks cool.
It looks funky. I just saw the newest one that he did with Pedro Pascal, the Unbearable Weight, or no, something. It's fucking weird, but Nicolas Cage plays himself, which I love when actors play like hyperbolic versions of themselves.
Oh, I love that.
And Pedro Pascal is like a crazy, you know, rich guy who's a big fan of Nicolas Cage and just hanging out. It's really fun.
Yeah, but like you said, Fernanda, this episode, this B-side is a Fernanda JT joint collaboration, which was fun. I remember like we had one of the big challenges we dealt with is like we were kind of whipping together this pantheon as we move forward, but we started bare bones so that nothing was unnecessarily added. We were like, we will add things as it's necessary. So this was a really fun episode to work on.
Yeah. And in terms of like hard magic systems versus soft magic systems, if folks, whoever's watching this, you know, like both in the chat and also like once we put this like VOD on YouTube or whatever, like there's a difference between hard magic systems like Avatar The Last Airbender or like Lord of the Rings and soft magic systems, which is more of like what we're doing, which is like there's magic, there are some rules, the rules never get too specific.
No, who cares about the rules?
Yeah, and that's honestly half the fun, which is why we started this one in a kangaroo court with really no rules. But yeah, this is a fun episode, and I'm very excited about this one. This one was written after A-side and C-side were already written, which kind of already got brought up. So those two were written first. The boys, Charles and Jesse, and then Helix. And technically also I would argue that this is also an Emmy episode.
Yeah.
Then they were written for this one, which is fun. A little fun, little heartbreaking, little silly.
Oh yeah, the gasps in the audience.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I'm ready.
This one you also had some fun like sound design stuff. Like I know that we've mentioned it briefly, but that like sci-fi portal noise from A-side, which is insane. You freaking killed it with that.
I'll say, you know, one of the best parts of sound design is realizing like, oh, this room doesn't feel filled enough. And I will also, you know, Anne would often send like, Anne was the dialogue editor for the first season, and would send along, you know, these sort of like mini recordings of like, hey, if you need to fill the room, here are all of these gasps and these chats and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, okay, now I'm gonna add my voice, so I would whisper as well and like make little noises and things. And so it was just like filling in the gaps of sound with a bunch of like goofy little audio clips was always just a total blast. And there's a couple instances in this where I'm just whispering and gasping in the background.
It's gonna be fun. All right, enough talking. Gonna hit play.
Radio Outcast is
Bye,
a
Anne.
bizarre gunslinging
Bye,
podcast
Anne.
for mature audiences. Content warning: This episode contains depictions of emotional abuse throughout the episode that may be upsetting for some listeners. We encourage our listeners to
ASMR voice.
prioritize their safety before venturing ahead.
It's kind of a
Thank
trip
you.
hearing ourselves. I love the whistles in the theme song. It always like makes me happy.
Look, maybe I've been alive for 370 million years, but that doesn't mean that I'm ready to be a mother.
Great first line.
Order. Order. All arise. Judge Emmy presiding. God of time. Queen Mother of like the past, the present, and the future. Thanks, Trey, much. You, beautiful bailiff. Although you did forget to mention quantifier of reality, ruler of the fourth dimension, and most recently voted sexiest higher god for the 400 millionth year running.
Sorry, but the cheering.
Like the
That's when I
narcissism with
knew my ex
coupled with
had
like
lost her
the praise
fucking
is just so much.
Emmy made herself judge, prosecutor, and even the jury. She'd be sitting in the judge's seat and then just disappear into thin air, appearing somewhere else in the courtroom in an entirely different outfit.
I remember I told you that I wanted Emmy to kind of be a Bugs
Code
Bunny
flew around my
character
head
in
cleaning
this
up the storm.
episode, just
At
going
least I
from
have
one end to
friend
the next.
during all of this bullshit.
Oh yeah.
My powder
Yeah,
blue
just
mockingbird has
above
been by my side
physics,
all
above
these
reason.
years, but I'll need more than my little familiar to survive this bogus trial. Ever since the 4,000-year-long trial between a sea god and the money goddess, order and chaos have dipped from the heavens court entirely.
Order
Too
and
much work, they
chaos.
both said. Now, Emmy has taken the reins.
You may be seated. The trial between the messenger god of sound, known as Helix, versus the god of time, known as me, Emmy, is now in session. Do we have, like, opening statements?
As a matter of fact, I do. If you're going to drag the entire pantheon into
Oh,
our fucked
coulda.
up relationship problems, then allow me to set the record straight. Emmy has controlled me for the
Judge,
past.
let's ignore Helix's petty outburst and get down to business. As we all know, when two gods are united, contractually they are to eventually fashion a cute little half and half me and half and half you lesser god.
We were dying when we wrote that line.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Millennia. And I have proof that instead of committing to this most noble ritual, Helix has been acting like a human.
Oh no.
The glass breaking.
It's pretty gross.
I just imagine like the
Unfair
god of
to a god
libations.
as amazing as yourself. Too true.
Too true.
Bring out the first witness. Your Honor, I call to the stand the all-seeing messenger god of sight, Spectra.
Uh-oh.
One of my four sisters.
For
Spectra.
Here comes
sightings.
Fernanda.
Always
This is
jockeying to be the
terrifying.
most powerful of the sensory messenger daughters.
Let's get into it, Spectra.
That like flick with the lighter, so good.
So yeah, I saw Helix spending her days and nights on Earth, partying and DJing in the basements of clubs in New York City with the humans. She wasn't even being worshipped.
Emmy brought out my other three sisters.
Screams.
Instead of defending me, they each pled the $5 million.
I like how
None of
the
them
stakes of
wanted
this
to.
episode are so absurdly high
They're
that it
so
can't
high.
help but be comedic.
I call to the stand the messenger god of touch. I call to
Ooh,
the
the other
stand
sisters.
the messenger god of smell.
Spectra was the worst. It was obvious she wanted me to face the maximum punishment because making me look bad
Did you
has
have
always
a,
been her favorite way of winning.
Character or a voice that was like inspiration for Spectra?
The others didn't have much to add.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I was just thinking of like
my end of the contract.
femme fatales
Emmy,
in
I
like
had been allowed to create
cartoons,
things
not
like
gonna lie,
ticking of a clock,
specifically.
a
Not like
chorus,
even
the
noir
birds
film or
and
anything,
hell,
just
even
sort of
hip-hop wouldn't exist without
super
Emmy. All Emmy
exaggerated,
was asking
like
for, in
bored
God's
voice.
eyes, was what was owed to her.
Just really
Divine
sighing
child.
as she talks, incredibly
That's
airy.
enough witnesses.
Like,
I
who
think,
actually needs to
like,
enunciate?
We've all heard enough. Am I right, my sweet audience?
It just makes me think of like public
Pantheon
hangings or
is
something, like all these people
bullshit
cheering
She
for
painted
something
me out as
heinous.
the greatest villain, a weakness, someone to blame for everything wrong in the heavens. Even the god of intuition looked like he knew exactly where this was going.
I remember you
always
writing
been
that
too
line. That is such a good line.
irresponsible to
I remember the god of intuition even knew exactly where this
Now,
was going.
too selfish. Even my own mother, the all-mother of communication, looked at me like I had brought this all on myself. I couldn't bear to turn around and look at her, to face the disappointment. I'd embarrass myself, my union, my title, and, worst of all, my mother.
Aw. Helix and her mommy
Now,
issues.
Does the beautiful prosecution have a recommendation? Judge, we recommend like the most maximum punishment.
It's just so silly when you think of it.
And
Like,
what
Emmy's
does the
talking to herself
lovely
the entire
jury
time.
recommend? Judge Emmy, we, the jury, recommend the maximum punishment for the messenger god of sound known as Helix.
Stop this! Why are all of you just letting her do this? But I knew the answer. It was fear.
A sound argument from both prosecutor Emmy and jury foreman Emmy. And lastly, what about our dear audience?
What? You can't ask them!
Well, Helix, it seems the verdict is like totally clear. You must know that this comes from a place of love. My love.
Love. Did you ever actually love me?
Jade kills it with this.
Oh yeah.
You think because you're some higher god, you can sleep around with dozens of other minor deities behind my back and I'm not supposed to care? No! I think you used me. And as a matter of fact, I think all of you gods just use each other and I'm...
Oh. You know what you sound like? A human.
These are the
And
lines that
since you
Jade used to
want
audition from too, if I
so
remember correctly.
Humanoid. Well, let's grant your petty wish. For Helix, I grant the maximum punishment.
Number 2.
Wait, what the fuck is... one moment, I was staring into the face of my former lover. Someone I used to confide in, change the world with, now turned into some vengeful monster. I saw a dark look in her eyes. I turned to look for my mother, to reach out for help, but then, in the very next moment, everything went radio silent.
I love that, JT.
Whoosh.
Whoosh. Oh, she's landed somewhere. Where'd she
I
go?
found myself sitting on top of a heap of funky silk dresses. For a moment, I thought I was back in Brooklyn. Wouldn't be my first time waking up in a coat room the day after a party. The room I was in took me back to my gramophone days. Stuff I hadn't seen in nearly a century. A table nearby was stacked with loose powder jars and tins of soot. There was an open chest bursting with corsets and frilly bloomers. I tried to get up a bunch of times, but I felt like shit. Like half of me had been scooped out of my insides. I had to crawl out from under the dresses, all while Coda freaked around my head. Fuck. We'll be okay. We're okay.
How did you
We
choose
just
from the bird
gotta
sounds,
figure
by the
out
way?
just what the hell Emmy's maximum punishment
What's that?
is.
How did you go about choosing from the bird sounds? Because, like,
Where are we?
there were so many.
Yeah, like because I think you gathered them and sort of organize them
370
by
million years I've
attitude.
been a god.
And I would just go
Teleporting
through,
back
you know,
and
like if
forth
it was
between
like
the
Coda
heavens and earth.
confused or Coda angry, I'd go
In the
through
middle of the
those,
desert,
and
I could hear
99% of the time it had the exact sound in there. But sometimes I'd find, you know,
These were my powers
an appropriate
as a
sound like
mystery.
under another tag.
No.
I could make the most beautiful music out of thin air, and now, after 370 million years, I can't leave. I can't teleport. All I hear is the empty stillness of the strange room. My powers, my godness, it's all gone.
Such a good place to end the episode, really, though. Like, just
Oh, yeah.
like quiet after being just bananas. Like this kangaroo court with all these sounds, people laughing, cheering, to just like this like quiet hum at the end when she's alone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably biased, but I love the preludes and how they move and, you know, energy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably biased too.
Yeah, probably a little biased,
Yeah,
but
probably a little biased. You know. Oh man. Any thoughts on the episode before we move on to Jesse?
no, I'm ready for Jesse.
Okay, this will be fun. Okay, so we met Charles, the con man. We've talked about him quite a bit. We've met Helix. We've seen like the real conflict of the story, or the one that like starts everything, right?
Right.
And now there's Jesse, the Southpaw, the one who doesn't really fit in and yet somehow gets roped into this entire ridiculousness.
Poor boy.
Poor boy. He's just going around trying to kill some bad people.
Sweet, sweet Jesse.
All right.
Yeah, he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. All right. So Jesse the Southpaw, and in this prelude, we also get a glimpse of the completely real, totally not fake, and written for the show Lone Flats.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, we've totally been there.
Yeah.
It's a fun little thing. The Enchanted Mesa is a real place, but this little town, not real at all. God. I remember some of the cast thought it was real too, because so many of the other places in the show are, like, everywhere else in the show is a real place and actually existed and had all this, like, rich, deep history. But we just took the Enchanted Mesa from this place.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, who knows? Like maybe Lone Flats does exist. You know, maybe it retconned itself into existence after the show.
Oh yeah, it exists in our hearts at the very least.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right.
Radio Outcast is a broody, gunslinging podcast for mature audiences. We encourage our listeners to prioritize their safety before venturing ahead. Thank you.
This one's a little louder, huh?
Yeah, this one has plus 3 dB on it, and all the episodes after it do.
Oh, okay. Sound design.
Here he comes. Our cowboy.
Boots on ground. Moving along. This is the first of the character themes we've heard too, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is Jesse's theme. Little church bell, little guitar.
Came to this place on the winds of a whisper. Funny how stories begin that way.
Looks like you could use a bit of fun.
Sorry, darling. Trying to make cash, not spend it. Jesus. Here. Not buying nothing, just...
You trying to get into heaven or something?
That's the line from last week's trivia.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get into heaven or something.
Yeah, you demolished that trivia. I mean, I knew you would, but I was like, damn.
Easy mode killed me though. I was struggling so hard with easy mode.
I love that. You were like, man, it's just gonna get worse from here. Once you get to hard mode, you're like, episode 3, 17 minutes and 14 seconds. And I was like, what?
It was only a few hours ago, but it feels like a month. Rode in on a borrowed steed alongside some old cowboys I knew from my cattle driving days. Friends of my old man, Jacob Rogers. May rest in peace. Was divine destiny or something like that, I tell you.
Ivory's voice, it's just like, Jesse sounds so cool.
Oh, he's amazing.
Again, probably a little biased here, but...
What'll it be?
Oh, Griff.
Yeah, Griff. Bartender. Sexiest NPC in the entire... I
You
know
look
they're not
familiar.
NPCs, but still.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I mean,
Not many black
I
cowboys
love
come
your
through here.
choice in writing this episode to have.
Jacob Rogers, right?
I mean, it's like it's very like, you know, I know Gunsmoke was important for
What do
like
you
the
have?
generation of this project. Like,
Lower your voice.
it's very true to
Look, kid.
the OG
I don't know how to break
genre
it
of
to you,
Western. It's a
so
cowboy
I'll come out
walking
with it
in,
straight.
getting word at a
The deal's
bar.
been
It like really levels
say
everything
it
out because we
adjusted.
have the,
Got
gunshot
the money.
fantasy
You
moment with
can't just
Charles
add
and the
terms last
heavens.
minute.
This one really like
Where's your boss?
settles
like a
things
client.
into like
And I reckon you'll meet
a
after
true
you're done with the job.
Western
He's got the details on those men
like
you're searching
feel.
for.
Yeah,
You know?
Those dangerous
totally.
men.
Thank you.
Been a while since I saw Jacob. Never seen you before. You must be young.
We needed a
Not so
moment in
green,
a
I won't deliver.
saloon.
Oh yeah.
So?
Hmm?
The job.
Right. My client wants a necklace. Jane Linggood's famous for her emerald. You'll find it in the mayoral mansion.
This the mayor's wife I'm stealing from?
Need 3 more over here, pal.
I'll let you think a moment. 3 glasses coming your way.
It's a little
You
understated
wouldn't
in
have any
comparison
other
to the other
choices.
like relationship
Whispers or
dynamics in the
not,
show, but like
this
the
was
chemistry
the first
between
anyone had
the
leads on those
bartender
men.
and Jesse in this episode, so good.
Here you
Oh,
are,
yeah.
gentlemen.
Hey, did you see that weird black tower the mayor set up on the mesa?
From afar. Could have sworn it popped up overnight with how fast the mayor
Ooh,
had
what
his men
could
build it.
that be?
God knows what he was thinking.
I'm sure
Let me
it's
know if
nothing.
you need any more drinks.
Probably not important to the plot whatsoever.
That's literally
Well,
what that would
Rogers,
in
where's
tvtropes.com.
your
That's
head?
what it would say for
Can't
that
you
moment.
talk to him? Score me some better terms?
You're hunting the bloodiest gang in the West, Rogers. These are the best terms you're gonna get.
Can't go stealing
hunting people?
from folks who don't
Crazy.
deserve stealing from. Ever heard what sins the mayor indulges in? After a
No,
priest,
he indulges
bartenders are
in
the
not
ones
to
that get the most
spoil.
efficient one.
What, you an outlaw with a coat or something?
I ain't no outlaw.
Not an
Sure.
outlaw.
Sure.
But a code?
Kind of sins you asking about.
If you're
Code-
the priest,
code he
then
does
our
have.
deliverance is how I see
You
it.
got me there, pal.
Child abuse, murder, ex-slave owner.
Jesse's
Mayor
looking
hits the
for a
mark on
reason.
couple of those.
Yeah, he's just like, come on,
Say
he's
it a
gotta be a
favor himself.
scumbag.
He'll be hosting a celebration there in a few hours.
The Civil War was
Some
just
might
a little
consider
while
that the
ago.
perfect opportunity
He
for
had
Oh,
to
yeah, it
own
was
some
not-
slaves.
yeah.
That's enough for me,
You-
bruh.
Mm-hmm.
A girl next door should be of help to you. Miss Marigold.
Marigold. They ain't opposed to my business.
Sorry.
Nah, not here.
I want to pause it there just really
Uh-huh.
quick. Because when I was doing, because I do research like crazy for everything. When I
Uh-huh.
was doing research and stuff, like, I was looking into like cowboys and like the racial dynamics and everything. And there were a lot of black cowboys and there were a lot of like minorities who were cowboys, obviously. But it was like crazy because after work, like a very common activity would be to go get laid at a brothel.
Mm-hmm.
But the black cowboys were not allowed inside brothels. Obviously,
Right.
they had to go to a different place or nowhere at all, which is where that line's from. It's just Jesse just being like, "You sure I'm allowed inside a brothel at all right now, my guy?" Sorry, that
Oh,
was
sweet
money's
Jesse.
yeah.
Anything else I can do you for?
Another whiskey. A double.
Very happy right now. One step closer to revenge.
This was supposed to be the story of how I avenged my father's murder. But when I agreed to a changed deal, the tale changed with it. Day 1. This is a diary of the bad hands the gods deliver us.
It's the start of our journey. Damn. So, pretty sure that's
Radio
it.
Outcast
Yeah.
was
Prelude. All the preludes. A side, B side, C side.
Gotta love him.
Gotta love them. Okay. We'll close out with a long one.
Well, do we want to do that, or do we want to, like, think about moments through the rest of the season that we want to, like, visit and just, like, drop into?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we'll have to scroll to find them. Or I can pull up the transcripts for the first few episodes, at least. And by first few, I mean, yeah.
The first in A side, let's see. I think that Jesse and Helix meeting for the first time would be really fun.
Great. Yeah, that is a good one. That's shortly after he talks to Marigold, so I think probably around here.
Does that look right? I honestly can't tell if it's too modern or not.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
I bumped
Okay.
right into it.
Now, let's get out of here.
All right. So, just for context, for anybody who's joining right now and maybe you haven't heard the show before, so now that we've listened to the first 3, like, prologues, preludes, we call them, but they're prologue episodes where we, like, meet each of the main characters. We meet Charles the con man, we meet Helix the goddess, who's been banished, and then we meet Jesse the cowboy, who's out for revenge. Now that we've met them, now we gotta see them meet. So in this episode, Jesse and Charles have bumped into each other, but don't really know each other in the saloon. Charles gets into some craziness in the saloon, and then Helix has just arrived to 1887, and her original timeline is 1987. And when she arrived, she realized that her ex-girlfriend dumped her in a brothel as a pointed statement. And while she's there, she's gotten dressed, she's changed her look and everything, and she's about to head out. And Jesse, as we know from just the prelude that we listened to, needed to go to the brothel, to Marigold's brothel, to see if he could get an invitation into the mayor's house. And this is how the two meet.
Good intro. Yeah.
Maybe I was a little too eager as I left, but I had a plan. Well, I had a destination. So I opened the door, ready to leave that brothel in the mortal plane as soon as I could. I saw a door outside and sprinted down the stairs, hoping no one would catch me as I left. Lo and behold, I immediately ran into someone. A tall man blocking my way to the door, the ivory grip of his gun sticking out from a holster. Hi. Are you the
No.
bouncer? Oh, great.
The what now?
Like, the guard? I mean, obviously you're not the guard. And I would know that, clearly, as someone who works here.
Right.
The awkwardness is so
Yeah.
palpable, but it's
I'm,
beautiful.
The bouncer. Why not?
Both of them trying to
Right.
lie.
Why not? The cowboy pointed a finger at the ground, signaling for me to crouch down by the stairs. It wasn't like he was bossing me around. It was more like it was in both of our interests to hide. So I did.
Mr. Jesse, stand in there longer, like an obstinate mule will not change my mind.
Come on, Miss
Sorry.
Marigold.
I dropped something.
I could tell he was thinking really hard about something. It's the same look you get, Mom, when you're figuring out how to trick me and my sisters to work together. The cowboy had a plan, and as I crouched there, hiding from the lady,
superpower.
I knew I was about to be a part of that plan.
Yes, you are.
Well,
Mhm.
I want to hang out with Miss Marigold.
He opened the door, turned
bet
his
should be
back to
fun.
her, and glanced at me. It was a signal. A signal for what? I don't know, but I needed to bounce out of that brothel without any extra drama. And the cowboy gave me an opening.
Those chimes.
I waited a bit after he left. Once I was sure the woman had gone too, I ran out the door. As soon as I stepped out on the brothel's porch, a woman in a fluffy tulle dress turned to me. Her eyeliner went out to her ears.
Hey, are
Yeah,
you
I love that scene.
Me?
I like it's
That
it's
was
like
so
it's just so different from where they're at as like friends.
Yeah.
In a few episodes, but like yeah, I just love it.
Yeah, the dynamic's just like really fun that initially they're both like, I'm lying and you're lying. I guess we're just gonna lie together for a little bit. That was a good one. That was a good choice. I think immediately after the scene is one of my favorite Charles scenes where he causes a scene. So many times saying that word. He causes a scene in the saloon.
Oh yes. Yeah, I remember now.
I feel like we need to hear that because it's
Oh yeah.
so good.
We got to hear Charles bumble along.
Bumble along. Let's see if it's like right here. Yes.
It soon occurred to me that I'd already.
A little bit before. Oh my gosh, yes.
Only to figure
Hold
out-
on. We need a moment to hear those transitions because JT, between every scene in the entire show, would do these crazy ass transitions to like signal, okay, we did this thing, now we're moving on to another thing. Because, yeah. And for this one, it was all like scratching and all that kind of stuff. It's so sick.
Oh yeah, yeah. Word up to Samurai Champloo for that. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Where I was and what was going on. At the time, I had no idea that we were both headed to the same place anyway.
So good. I love it.
1987, 1887.
Back with the piano
A
in the Gilded
saloon
Age.
in the center of nowhere. A watering hole for the untrimmed mustaches of the world.
So much mustache.
No doubt
today.
I held more
It's a good
teeth
day
in
to
my
talk
own
about
mouth than all
mustaches.
those
Very
drunken
good day.
rubes combined. Good sir, you are this establishment's bartender, yes?
Who else do I look like? Grover Cleveland?
Very humorous, good sir. But I can assure you I've met President Cleveland, and his mustache was far better. It soon occurred to me that I'd already drawn uncomfortable attention to myself. The Rat Trap's patrons had their eyes on me, or rather, fixed upon my suit and pockets. They seemed rather amused, some even disgusted with me. It seemed that my Commonwealth charms had fallen entirely flat in Lone Flats.
That is such a good line too, JT.
Forgive me, sir.
I
it's
love
been a
that Dan
terribly
laughs
long
as
journey.
Charles, which is not in the
Is this
script. He
a
just laughs at
terribly
his own
long
joke.
way of asking for a free drink?
Oh, no, sir. Nothing like that. Although I do have an inquiry, and I'd never say no to a free drink. An inquiry about a strange woman. A woman, not of this time. Perhaps she passed through this fine saloon. Hmm?
Son, if you're asking about the whorehouse, go out and turn.
No. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not in search of a... Well, I suppose she could, but... Well, it just doesn't seem...
Listen, son. You're disturbing the regulars. You can either stop speaking in codes, or go on and sort yourself outside.
Speaking
now,
in codes.
I had seen my rank degraded once too often.
Not the
Nearly
ego
shot by a
being
bloodthirsty
hit.
Texan, utterly dismissed by the post-verbial carriage driver,
Charles
and now
trying to be like, I'm
belittled
just this
by a
happy
lowly
Commonwealth man. You know what? Fuck you.
Think me not prideful. However, this was merely part of the role. Now,
Trying to rationalize his
Charles
emotional reaction.
codes. I'm speaking in educated English, Mr. Bartender. I'm speaking each word as they are properly writ. Don't you understand? Writ.
I love Dan's tone here.
Writ. Have you ever sat and read a book with words? Now, a true shapeshifter dedicates himself at all costs. It is the only way to make a living from it, even if you might make a dying from it. Anything less, and you're nothing but a thespian. It seemed that my saloon outburst had set off the wrong bells, or perhaps the right ones. Whichever, the bartender and his lazy-legged loons started reaching for their holsters, and that they had that particular look in their eyes. The same look that Mr. Matthews, the true Roy Matthews, the mustachioed ogre, had given me in Virginia. And my estimations told me this is the killing gaze. But it did seem the admonishments were going to continue pouring from my mouth without regard and with no clear reckoning.
Charles can't stop himself from talking every single time. Give him the choice.
One might call it a death wish. I am quite literally on a mission for death herself, fulfilling her wishes.
Not death, but
Would
time.
she allow
Close
me to
enough.
ruin myself so simply? I doubt it. I could say whatever I pleased, and absolutely no harm would come. Have any of you in this wretched place ever read a book that didn't have little pretty pictures in it?
I told you. Take yourself outside.
No doubt he could have struck me had he aspired to. Now, I spent a whole childhood in the West, and the years after at the Pharaoh table. Now, I know these sorts of men. They knew the difference between a paralyzing shot and one that kills. But death was on my side now. Instead, he struck the corner of the Sonny machine.
Oh, poor Sonny.
Poor Sonny. Oh, fun sound design again.
Oh, here we go. Waking up.
Waking up.
Listening to. We are going back, way back.
I'm getting flashbacks to finding these sounds.
From the 60s, 70s, 80s, 80s, 80s. What are you doing here about, stranger?
Specifically in a city like New York, one can hear songs in many languages.
First tower activated.
What the hell is that?
First tower activated.
The Sonny machine began to make a terrible rotating and beeping noise. And the saloon patrons, if they did not want to destroy the screeching machine, they looked to steal it for scrap parts.
Oh,
I needed to
sweet
escape.
Sonny.
Sweet
I
Sonny.
needed to escape. Right. Yes. That's all I needed. Farewell.
Okay, I have my next
Okay.
request.
What's your next request?
But it requires us to hop into episode 2.
Okay, so
if you
we're
have
hopping
if you have a
forward quite a
B-side,
bit.
what's that?
So we're hopping forward quite a bit.
Yeah, so if you have a B-side, I would get it in because mine is in episode 2.
Do I have a B-side? Maybe we should listen to Jesse's death.
Oh, yeah, that's a great performance.
Yeah.
Cast for mature.
So, in the rest of A-side, the trio end up all going and converging at the mayor's house. Jesse to go steal from the mayor. Helix because she's been swept into Jesse's whole shenanigans, and also because it turns out that that's where the Black Tower is, and she has a feeling that something related to her godliness and her powers are there at the tower. While they're at this mayor's house, they're at this party, Jesse goes to try to steal a necklace from the mayor's wife in another room. Charles sneaks into the party and pretends to be a page turner, using the Sonny machine as an electric metronome of sorts. The mayor's so-called only daughter plays the piano horribly because she can't keep up with the metronome. And Helix decides to leave the party to find Jesse when they both find this girl hidden away in a different room of the house. and it turns out it's the mayor's first daughter who has a facial deformity. So she has been hidden from the public and sort of ostracized and clearly, like, not treated well. So in finding her, Jesse and Helix, who are good people, free her. She runs to go see her parents, and her dad calls her a creature, a beast, and starts throwing accusations. Everything blows up in his face, and it ensues in a gunfight where Charles's Sunny machine is hit by a stray bullet. Helix is shot in the shoulder. Jesse shoots the mayor in the shoulder in the exact same spot that Helix got shot, and they run away up the Enchanted Mesa, which is like this giant, like, rock thing. It's like this giant, not a mountain, but, you know, something similar. They run up the Enchanted Mesa towards the tower under Helix's advice, who suggests that there's a way for her to get them all out of that if she makes it there, if she can get her powers. And as they go up there, there's a whole kerfuffle, and yeah, things go bad. Would you say that's an apt?
That's a great description, yeah. And things do not go well. We'll see in the scene, but it turns out okay. But no one's necessarily happy about it.
Okay, I'm guessing. Let's see if I'm guessing. I'm guessing really good, really well so far. Let's see.
Bastards who killed my dad.
Oh, I got it right there too.
It was taller than the mayor's mansion. It was a long, straight run once we reached the flat top of the mesa. Keep going.
Oh, this might be
I'm
a
right
little
behind
early.
you.
Just shoot the motherfucker!
We were halfway across the mesa's face when the mayor came up behind us. Couldn't name the kill.
Yeah,
I
because we
figured
have a
I
little short
could leave
Charles
his
scene
fate
in a
to the
second too,
gods.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
And louder than the sound of bullets, it cried out.
Oh, here it is.
My final shot, and when I opened my eyes,
Yeah, that's
the
right.
ground shook under my feet. The mayor was getting closer. Couldn't see it, I could feel it. I shot blind again. The mayor screamed.
Oh, so for the record, Jesse is shooting with his eyes closed right now because he doesn't believe in unfair fights, and he has like godlike aim. He has the best. He has like freaking cheat code precision. So he decides he's already taken out all of the mayor's men. Now he's gonna shoot the mayor with his eyes closed because he has a direct shot, and he thinks it's not fair. And the mayor's life is not technically his to take, so he's shooting with his eyes closed.
Yeah, he's like always balancing his code. He always wants to do things as balanced and fair as possible.
Yeah.
But the horse kept running my way.
Die, you bastards!
It ain't my call to kill. Only for fate to decide. And I'd be nothing but fate's hand. Kept my eyes closed, took my final shot, and when I opened my eyes, I saw. I missed.
Jesse!
I felt the sting first. Then I looked down and saw the hole through my chest. Blood spread all across my front. Couldn't breathe. It was like drowning. Next thing I knew, I was on my back, watching the mayor galloping straight for Helix. We were only a couple feet away from the tower. She didn't get what she wanted, and neither did I. I never got my hands around the throats of the bastards who killed my dad. Only thing I managed to do was watch the mayor shoot at her and miss. And then, like magic, a weird-looking bird appeared out of thin air in front of her. It looked like it was made of a glowing blue glass as it flew straight for the horse. It opened its beak, and louder than the sound of bullets, it cried out. horse panicked and kicked
to the
about.
rescue.
Maya held on.
Hell yeah.
But the bird kept following him around, crying, growing louder and louder, till the mayor finally lost his hold and the horse kicked him right off the side of the mesa.
Oh, we love this part.
I love that scream.
So good.
Oh man, Griff killed it with that character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one, I think.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My episode 2 one is, it's a classic. I bring it up once a week. It's the Never Have I Ever.
Oh man, that's so good. Okay. So at the end of episode 1B, everything works out. Jesse comes back to life. If you've heard it, you know how. If you haven't, you should go listen to the episode.
Gotta go listen.
You gotta go listen. You gotta figure out how it is that Jesse
Come
survives that. And then all three end up meeting, and Charles tells them he has the Sunny machine and knows how to find all the towers that they're looking for in order to get all of Helix's power back. So they group up, they're working together, they're walking towards the next tower, and as they're doing that, they're three individuals with three very different goals, and all of them kind of resent each other for the fact that they have to travel together. Minus Charles, whose job it is to follow Helix.
Yeah.
So in the midst of all of this, you have Helix, who is like this sunshine girl who's kind of a party girl and likes to have fun, just trying to deal with Jessie, who's a sourpuss and doesn't really like to have fun. Not the way she does. And Charles, who is all too eager to please.
Mm-hmm. And untrustworthy.
Yeah. Highly untrustworthy.
Those three last ones.
Okay, yeah. Right around here, then.
Found it. All I want to do is kill.
Ooh.
It's like God.
Maybe here?
Madam, I myself received my first bullet not long ago. Left.
There we go. Ooh, those drums. War drums.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, that's the transition sound this time. Am I frozen right now for?
Oh, you are. Hold on. Let's see.
Well, I can.
Yeah, you're frozen on Discord.
Let me see. I'll do this.
Uh-huh.
And then come back.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, can't miss your reaction during the scene that you chose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm excited.
Okay, cool.
My turn. Never have I ever... Never have I ever been shot more than once.
Oh, good one, madam.
Oh my god.
I myself received my first bullet not long ago. Left not even a scratch. But that's quite a long story. You know, the Sani machine, too, has already been pinged numerous times.
Jesse. You need to put a finger down. First, you raise your hands again. Put a finger down for those three last ones, and now put down another.
Told ya I ain't in the mood for your weird god games.
It's a human game. I learned it at this killer NYU sorority party where if you lost the game, you had to drink.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, New York University's
lore.
a thing now, right?
Yeah, New York.
Well,
lore.
anyways, the game is from the future, so I guess you wouldn't know it. Also, because you're boring.
Yeah, boy.
We had to get that in there.
Yeah,
Tell your
boring.
blue bird to mind his business.
They're a mockingbird. Leave Coda alone.
Oh, we had that
Try
another
to be
moment
a
in the
team player
trivia.
for once.
Oh, yeah, that's
okay. You don't like Never Have I Ever.
Hello, Bean Loaf. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey.
I'm just gonna pause it real quick to explain what we're doing. I don't know how long you've been here, but we're the co-creators of an audio drama called Radio Outcast, and we're listening to some scenes and just commenting on them. Right now, JT chose
welcome.
a favorite. Oh, hello. Little waves. Wait, did you
Yeah.
freeze again?
Did I?
Maybe. Oh no, you're fine.
Okay.
Wave a hand. Okay, you're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so JT chose our very favorite Never Have I Ever Seen from episode 2A.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I've got other games. 20 questions. Okay. I think of a random person or thing, and you have to guess whatever I'm thinking. You get 20 questions to try to figure it out. Ready? I've already got a thing in mind. Do you want to start?
No.
Indulge
So
her,
salty.
Mr. Rogers.
Just like,
I'm sure a
don't wanna
solitary
do
man such
shit.
as yourself could do with a fun bout of gaming. Now, you might not guess it, but I consider myself quite the gamesman.
Charles
Best
and his
pharaoh player in all
monologues.
the West, some have said. Just before I emptied their pockets. But that's another story. This 20 questions
How many
sounds quite
times in the
fun.
season does he say,
See,
but that's another
Charles
story?
likes my games.
At
Yeah,
least
big
3.
surprise.
I'm sure you're at least a little curious about me, right? It's not every day a mortal gets to meet a god. How about truth or lie? I say a truth and a lie, and you gotta guess which one's the lie.
Oh, how about just talking? What's the point of a game?
Look, we should be getting to know each other better if we're gonna be stuck together. And it should be fun. Otherwise, we're just grunting across the desert until we find the next tower.
Nah. I've walked hundreds of miles in complete silence. I
In
don't
this
need
scene,
to talk.
Helix is like
You
such the chaperone for
All I
a school
need
field
is
trip,
to
and
finish
Jesse is
this detour.
such the kid who does
Got
not
bigger
want to talk to
things
the
to worry about
chaperone
this
who's
summer.
trying to like
yeah.
make them do
Calm
events.
down.
Yeah, the like
Miss Helix
the
and I
camp
have been
counselor who's like,
perfectly
let's do some
You do well to follow suit,
icebreakers, and the
yes?
person who's like, that
Have
is
I not
my literal
lent the
nightmare.
Sani
There's
machine
no
to
way I'm
cause,
participating.
thus providing clues toward our great mystery? And did I not provide us with all accommodations from my own purse in the few destitute watering holes we've crossed thus far?
Yes, you've been a big help.
Oh, thank you.
He'd have been more help if he had got us horses instead of feather pillows for the night.
Ugh, you need to chill. Honestly,
What was that?
What was that?
That's a good one. That's a fun scene.
Such a good scene.
Yep. Starting off with 3 people not liking each other, just trying to play some games. One very eager to be like, yeah, I'll play. I'll definitely play. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
The other
They're having their little fun game, and then a gunshot has to interrupt everything. Classic.
Classic. Very Western as well.
Oh yeah.
Do you have another scene for 2A or 2B? I'm trying to think. Or maybe somebody watching has anything that they'd like us to watch as well. That'd be cool too. Feel free. Don't be shy if you've listened before.
Yeah. A few come to mind, you know, like the crew listening in on the bandits. I really like the one when Emmy exits the tent and her and Charles are like sort of just she's like catching up with Charles and kind of like, you know, harassing him a little bit. And he's like, "Oh, mistress, I'm on my mission still." And then the fight scene at the end is great. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do the tent scene. I think that's in 2B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like the one. I think it's the opener.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Chat. And she cheered this who would drag me down to earth.
Oh, this is the this is the recap.
Oh, right.
There we go. I just heard her voice and I thought I went
Mistress,
too far.
you've chosen to corral with outlaws?
So you had
Oh, real quick recap as well. I forgot to do this. So the gunshot leads everybody to these bandits who have just killed rangers who were like cops before the cops. And these bandits end up kidnapping Charles. And when they take Charles away, they take him to Emmy. And it turns out that it's the Sam Vogel gang, the gang that Jesse's hunting down. And Emmy has hired them to get him because she needed to talk to him and tell him he's doing a terrible job.
No clue. Not even a little itty bitty clue.
No, how would I? Should I have?
You are completely useless, Charles. Like, ugh. Start paying attention to everything, okay? Because I've got a big problem now. And if I've got a big problem, then, like, you've got a big problem. Remember that bullet? So, there's a grody wrench thrown into the works, or whatever. That Jesse guy? Yeah, not a part of the plan. I don't know who he is or where he came from, but I need you to get rid of him. Or befriend him. Something. Do I care? No. I need him out of the way. But it's clear to me, listening to your recordings, that he Mad Major Mega totally despises you. Or at least doesn't trust you. Aren't you supposed to be some, like, master con artist?
My apologies, Emmy. You are absolutely correct. I should...
No. I said pay attention. Don't talk. Listen.
The
okay?
only person trying to get
Now,
Charles to
let's
talk
move
less.
And actually succeeding.
Uh-huh.
In the tent they go. Is this a good place, or?
Beautiful. Yeah, I love it. I love the foreboding presence of Emmy.
Yeah. So fun. Okay. Should we listen to another scene in this episode or move on to 3A? Because I have one for 3A.
I say we just get into that Jesse moment where he's in the fight.
Oh,
we listen to a little bit of that.
Okay, yeah. I think maybe around... It's got to be a little earlier, actually. Maybe around here?
It was exciting, honestly. I felt like a panther in the dark hunting my prey.
Yeah.
No. That's a face you don't forget.
There it is.
Shot the tall one through the skull before I thought anything through. He fell like a brick, his head smashing down into the fire pit. I turned the barrel toward the next one, the man I knew. That's a face you don't forget. His eyebrows meeting in the center, a long scar across his chin. These were the guys. These were Sam Vogel's gang. They took my world from me. Now it was my turn to take theirs.
Holy fuck! You actually shot him?
It was then that my head caught up with my hand. I looked at the body, my finger on the trigger, and I remembered that I was supposed to be better than this. I was supposed to look these rats in the eyes. I took them out of this world so they knew who it was that done them in. I wasn't supposed to sneak through the shadows and shoot a man while he ate dinner. I'm better than a dirty fight. Fuck!
What are you doing?
The chin-scarred man turned his head and spotted us.
You fucker! You killed my brother!
Keep shooting!
No. Don't keep shooting.
Osgood runs from the fire but gets grabbed.
Release me at once! What would... Jesse! This one! This is the man you want! Shoot him! I heard them. They're Smithy Vernacular's gang or whatnot. He knows
Smithy
you.
Vernacular.
Drop the gun, or your friend's dead. A clear shot, but I hesitated. I can't.
Oh, for the love of... Rogers, they are murderers, robbers, blood-soaked degenerates! Your precious code is tenfold fulfilled. Now, please, do it!
So good.
Osgood's grin is practically manic. The guy's beaming at me as he finds a loophole for my code for me.
Charles just like,
Maybe
please
if it had
fucking
been
kill
anyone
them.
else, that wouldn't have been enough. But right then, it was. My dad, his friends, the Rangers, and every other soul they'd taken. Osgood was right. Maybe I could kill them. The scales were already tipped against them.
Were.
Enough!
The chin-scarred man shot me in the stomach. Then again, in the side. A familiar sting in both areas stunned my body with pain. Blood poured from the wounds. But it never blossomed. Muscle pushed the bullets out from my body, and then my skin stitched itself back together.
Cowboy.
The pain is brief. The shock lingers. But I won't die. I won't even have a scar. Again, I heal. Look back up at them to take aim. But they've thrown Osgood towards the fire and started running to their horses. No. They don't want to fuck with the undead man.
That's such a good line.
So good. Ivory and Griffin, like, they freaking killed it with this scene.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Or Griffin was just like, I get to be the bad guy. Again, he just played Mayor Orville Linggood, who was the fucking worst. But like, he goes into this and it's just like, you're one of the guys who's like, you're one of the guys Jesse's hunting. You're one of the bad guys of the whole show. Fucking, and he just like owned it.
Oh yeah. Griffin's so talented. He has so many different voices in the show. It's really, really fabulous.
Balances all of them like super well
Radio-
too. All right, Inheritors.
Come on, Salt Lake City.
Come on, Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City, infamous for a few things. Number one being
The Mormon Church, baby.
the Mormon Church, baby.
Oh yeah, the Mormon Church, and at this time, the Mormons really had control of Utah. It wasn't quite a state yet. They were going to make damn sure they could have their own land. Didn't work out for them in the end.
No, it did not. Yeah, during this time, were some of the members of the church in hiding at this point, or not yet?
Some of them were. A lot of anti-polygamy laws were starting to crop up. There had been some rebellions recently from the Mormons, some violent confrontations. So some of them were on the run because either they were part of these violent battles with the U.S. government, or because they were speaking for polygamy in a public manner.
Yeah. Yeah. And at this time, there was like a big freaking conflict, which we call a war in these episodes in particular. But there's like a conflict between essentially the church and the economists, the capitalists and the Mormons.
Yeah. Yeah, because one of the ways of winning this war that the government utilized is by just rolling over the city with investors, U.S. investors, people making businesses and connections in the city, so that slowly they got control of the city.
Yeah. Well, unless there's a scene that you want to listen to in particular from this episode, I really want us to meet the capitalist, the Mulberry Man.
Yeah, we should. Let's do that.
So, in the previous episode, they go and they they get another tower, they get a new power, and now they're in Salt Lake City, and for the life of them, they cannot find this third tower. But it turns out one of the people from our trio, Charles, is very familiar with Salt Lake City.
Oh yeah.
Very familiar with the ins and outs and all the secrets. this episode is full of secrets.
Oh, yeah.
Among them, the yeah, we'll just listen to it. The Mulberry Man. Maybe a little earlier. Yeah, like here-ish.
Seemed they were operating on some code.
Oh yeah.
Tall. Strange character came out of the door. Nothing like most folks in Salt Lake City. It's a Mormon town. Folks keep conservative. Don't dress for the eye. Gray skirts, gray suits, gray faces. And if they ain't Mormon, then it's a new railroad brought some workers over from China and Japan. Out on the street, that's what you'll see. Half the folks in conservative wear, half of them in cinder-marked railroad fits. But this strange man at the door, I had nothing. Big old beard, had a mulberry coat on with a gold pocket square. Tall black hat, long black gloves.
Well, don't allow me to get dizzy in age. What's the burden?
Oh, mind the grease, Dolman. You've a duty. Now rise to it.
Very, very well then.
The way Osgood and that purple-frocked man were talking, all that la-di-da, seemed bigger than your usual conversation. Each word had double meaning. Seemed they were operating on some code. I don't know. I kept a close eye.
Jesse's casual disgust.
3 cards. A king, a queen, and a joker. Joker is the key.
Mulberry Man had 3 cards. Started shuffling them around, didn't know what the hell was going on. But then he stopped shuffling.
Charles's theme,
Held
right?
3 cards out.
Or
and
no,
waited
this is
for
Jesse's
It's
theme.
Jesse's. Because he's watching.
Young man, I am no amateur, but do go gentle on my friends.
Charles went into his own pocket, pulled out a joker card just waiting. Had my mind splitting. How long was he holding on to that? Before Salt Lake, I figured Charles was just some pigeon-liver bunko artist. Nothing much to it.
Pigeon-livered
I've met
bunko
every
artist.
turn of trickster across the West. But Osgood
Gotta
just
get that
showing up with that
Gilded
talking
Age
machine
slang in there.
and the way he started
Mhm.
acting after Arizona, it got me to thinking. But before I got a word out, Charles went on inside past the Mulberry Man.
Go gentle. The board does not go gentle. Now, find the joker. Joker is key.
Let's go.
Nice.
So good.
Oh, the Mulberry Man and all of the vice presidents.
Oh, the vice president. The vice president is such a good character too. I mean, just this entire episode is fucking killer. 'Cause you're just like weaving all of these mysteries together, and just everybody has their own intention. And like we see it in particular in this scene where it's like one of the first moments where, you know, in the second episode, the trio doesn't really get along, but in this episode, it's very clear that they're just like, we don't get along because all of us are doing this for different reasons, and we don't really know what each other's reasons are.
Yeah, there's so much, the tower, spoiler, is beneath the surface, and it's like, yeah, this is when the characters are realizing that if they're gonna make it through all of this, they're gonna have to go, beneath the surface, with each other as well. They're gonna have to like really figure out what's going on because they have to trust each other. And and episode 4 is interesting regarding trust, but we'll get there.
Regarding trust, yeah, it's interesting. But this one's also really fun because I like, and I've told you this many times, but one of the things that I admire the most about like your writing in this episode is how you handle the Jesse Charles dynamic.
Oh yeah. They are not friends.
They are
but
not
to
friends.
say the
They
least.
do not like each other. All right. Your turn. 3A, 3B, what do you want to hear?
Let's see. I like. Let's see. I mean, Dan plays both Charles and Charles's father in 3B, and it's a really tense, sad, but the performance is amazing. So I think we should do 3B.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Hold on one second. My dog is crying, so I gotta handle that. I'll be right back. I don't know what's wrong. Be right back.
So the context for the moment we're about to see for anybody watching is, Charles is from Salt Lake City and the group has to go there because that is where the Sunny Machine has guided them to find the third tower for Helix's next power. And Charles is trying to avoid meeting something or someone. He doesn't really want to talk about it. But of course, as fate would have it, the tower is located in the same place where Charles's father is located. So they find their way there. They have to go beneath the very famous Mormon temple in Salt Lake City. It requires an elevator, which of course is anachronistic. It's kind of the future blending into the 1880s. And in order to get to the tower, it's through some cave. It's a cave system that the Mormons have excavated. And he has to get past his father in order to get to the tower.
That's a great explanation. Okay, sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Okay, I think I'm right on the money. We'll see.
Like he'd been through this before.
A little bit further.
Holy shit.
In the
Indeed.
cave. Yeah.
Very cool.
Or that
sound
was the
design,
temple.
too. Yeah. Because they're underground, so it's all like echoey and stuff.
The same as reading thoughts. They each require their own.
Wait. No, it's earlier then.
I ain't know that.
Yeah.
To my right thigh, but suppose it wasn't my cross. So, I kept my mouth shut, eyes wide open.
Is this it or is it earlier? JT?
Eyes wide open. I think that is, he's saying that when they're going through the tunnel toward George Buchanan.
Okay.
After walking for a while, we
you're
approached a huge wooden door at the end of the mine shaft. 2 guards. Both had pistols on their hips. Said we couldn't bring weapons inside to meet some man named Mr. Cannon.
Cannon.
Ah, of course. We've only the one single gun, isn't that right, Jesse?
And
Wasn't
after
sure if
arguing
Charles
the entire
forgot
episode,
about the extra revolver.
Charles
Was
and Jesse
strapped to
sort of
my right
silently
thigh
worked together
beneath
in
the
that
uniform.
moment to
Yeah,
hide a gun
I'd
in
been
Jesse's
enough.
boot just in case something does go awry.
So, as I went to hand the guards my primary gun, was able to shimmy that extra revolver down through my pant leg. Slipped it right into my boot. Just in case.
Creepy opera music.
Through the door, a small room with a desk. And a man sat there. Bright white beard, big nose. Looked a little familiar. He finished up writing a letter, then leaned back. He was expecting us. Took off his spectacles and sat them down on the table.
I will speak to the woman, and she will speak on behalf of him.
That accent.
Yeah.
I expect respectable behavior, and nothing less. No. Proceed.
It's Bristol, right?
Bearded man pointed at Helix. Then look at Charles.
Dublin?
But I did.
Oh,
Look
okay.
back and forth between Charles and that Cannon man.
Maybe it's Bristol. I don't remember.
Ain't no doubt.
Hmm.
Same bright white hair. Same nose.
It's a hard freaking accent though, and Dan killed it.
Ain't no doubt.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yes.
I'm not a secretary. I don't speak on anyone's behalf.
She was not having it.
He looks with her feminism and also
On his desk,
like a
golden
god.
nameplate that said George Q. Cannon. He stood up and strained his coat. Still
Her reaction
wouldn't
being
look
like,
at
"That's
Charles.
so cute."
He
Let's
turns to
let's
face the
not.
wall and talks
Yeah,
towards
I'm
it.
not doing that, bruh.
You come here, to this city.
Yeah, I
Do you
agree.
know what
Being
has
low,
transpired?
the accent work is
Why
it's just
I
phenomenal.
hide here in the underground.
Cute. Yeah.
Do you know where the war stands? Of course you do not.
And also,
You play-
sorry, just to hype Dan up more in this moment. He like, it's so hard to do such a freaking hard accent and still act through it, and he like, he made sure that he was doing that. Like I remember, while directing him and stuff, he was just really focused in and keyed in on the character and Cannon and like how disappointed and angry he was to see Charles.
Yeah.
A double agent. Fickle boy. Bringing further ruin to this city. Did you not think I would know? We've seen you entering the den of trade. We've seen you with your puerile disguises and your friend here, inviting herself wherever she wishes.
Oh, yeah, of course. I guess I should have known the magic show was gonna be a secret gathering for a literal underground resistance. My bad.
Cannon seemed like he didn't get argued with much. Turned red as a tomato.
Look, we're just here for the monolith. A big black tower. Seen anything like that?
Yes, no doubt. We cannot be graced with such a blessing without receiving some reminder of man's arrogance. You, whatever name you chose for today, I permit you this lone visit, because the divine monolith is not ours to possess. We cannot ordain the earth upon ourselves, but I will repeat my original request from years ago. Do you remember it, boy?
I'm not one to forget.
Just hearing your voice again, it repels me.
That's enough.
Is it? So be it then. The door behind me leads through a final passage. You will come upon the monolith. Do not disturb the worshippers visiting this site. This is a holy place. Remember, you will remain unwelcome in this city until you prove yourself welcoming. One day, you must pick a side, my son. And then, you must cleanse yourself of your inclinations.
Is that a
Old
good
George, mega villain.
Yeah, I mean, like, if there's one thing that there's a lot of in this season in particular, is just a lot of, like, fucking awful men.
Oh, yep.
Like,
We didn't hold back on that front.
like, every single episode, it's just piece of shit dude, piece of shit dude, piece of shit dude. George Q. Cannon was awful. Like, yeah. I mean, it's cool because he's one of the, like, we have a few actual historical figures who show up throughout the show, and he's the second one. And He's so awful. He's so bad.
Yeah, and then just whenever you think you're meeting somebody who's going to be a good man, guess what, bud?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just Jesse. Jesse's the only good man.
Jesse's the
in
only
the
good
universe.
man. The only good one out there. And his dad, according to him.
And his dad. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so fuck. But that's such a wonderful scene. You like you killed it with the writing, but then you like with the freaking sound design with that music in the background just like hanging out and stuff. I mean, I've never actually asked you, but like what was your inclination there? Why'd you go with that?
You know, I was thinking of like it's very, you know, it gives a lot of Scarface, Godfather. What's that that movie with the Irish brothers who get the revenge?
Oh.
You know, it just
I know which
gives
one
that
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all of those sort of like religious adjacent / like high Italian violent art kind of thing. I was like, yeah, like this guy's gonna have the opera music in the background, you know.
That's a really good trope motif to like pull from, I would say.
Oh yeah.
I think it's
And I remember I raised the bass just a little bit in George Buchanan's voice because it was the same actor doing his dad, so it needed to be different sonically, like in the experience of listening as well. And I remember once I boosted that bass, I was like, damn, Danton's just got this beautiful voice. Like,
he
it's
really
just
does.
incredible.
Yeah. It's just... It's like a great... I don't know. I really love that scene in particular because it encapsulates all of them so well. Like, as characters, but also as actors, I would argue. Like, Jade has like 2 or 3 lines in this scene and she freaking nails all of them. Just like hits them so hard and like with so much intention.
Yeah, you're right. She has this it's like because she's so contemporary, the character needs to always contemporize whatever the moment. Her responses to all of this, like, you know, this old Liverpool accent and Charles's like fake American want to be British English and Jesse's old cowboy, and then you have Helix who's like, yeah, I don't think so, dude, like chill out. It's always very funny, very sobering. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's really good. Is there any other scenes in 3B you'd like to visit, or moving on to 4?
I don't think so. We can go to 4.
Okay. Thoughts?
Come on, 4.
So, episode 3, they finish off there. They go to the tower. Helix gets her next power, and it's this power of being able to, how would we describe it? It's been so long since I've actually looked at the actual script that I'm forgetting the exact wording.
You once put it as a mood ring, which I thought was very apt.
Yeah. Yes, it's a mood ring, and it like, it's the prayer one. It lets Helix see into people's actual like intentions and like what they're actually feeling about certain things. So in a way, it's a way to see into people's hearts.
Yeah, instead of reading people's minds, reading people's hearts.
Yeah. So we get that power in that episode, and then going into this one, you know, Jesse spent all of episode 3 being suspicious of Charles and being like, this dude sucks, and then he was like, but his dad really fucking sucks, so I'm gonna cut him a break here. Going from that to now episode 4, which is where it gets the craziest in the season, I would say. This is the big anachronism episode. And it seems like a very goofy and silly episode at the outset, and then it turns into Helix doesn't trust Charles either. She's just like not as big of a dick about it as Jesse. Or rather, she's not as hung up about it. She's just like, it's fine. No. We're all using each other. Like, we'll move on. But you're not gonna...
Yeah, she sees the bigger picture.
Yeah, and she's more of a, like... I can agree to your lies as long as you don't look me in the eyes and tell me that the sky is fucking, like, I don't know, yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Also, like, she doesn't know that he's secretly working with her ex. Like, if she found that out, that would be really bad.
Yeah, that would be the thing.
But, you know, one thing that I noticed, I don't know if we did this intentionally. I feel like this is just us when we were writing it. It just happened this way. But in the first episode, the trio comes together at the very end. In the second episode, Charles gets separated from the group.
Yeah.
And so we have some Jesse Helix time. In the third episode, Helix separates from the group, and she goes to a little concert, and it's Charles and Jesse time. And then in this one, Jesse gets separated from the group. And by separated, sometimes it's voluntary, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
In this one, Jesse separates, so then it is Charles and Helix. And then in the fifth episode, they're completely separated, and then they're completely united. So it's just, you get in each episode, you get a little duo focus, and then they come back together. And then, of course, at the end of the fifth episode, they're all together. It's a nice like way of throughout the episodes getting to know their individual pairs, I think.
Yeah, totally. Because they all have like different relationships and dynamics with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and they all change. Like those dynamics change drastically. I mean, by the end of episode 1, Helix and Jesse really don't like each other. They're extremely suspicious of each other. They hate the circumstances that they're under. By the end of episode 2, they're just like, you know what? At least you don't suck. And that's kind of good enough for me. And they build a friendship from that. Also, like, they open up to each other, like, very quickly in that episode. And that forms that bond. Whereas then we have Jesse and Charles in episode 3 who are just like, I don't trust you, and I know you don't trust me, and I need you to trust me in order to con you. But also I have bigger fish to fry. So yeah, it's interesting how that dynamic happens, and by the end it's like Jesse is okay with not needing to know who Charles is, and just knowing that, like, he probably doesn't have bad intentions. He probably just lies because he's a liar, and that's enough. Whereas Charles is just sort of like, okay, clearly trying to win you over wasn't the way to go about it. And I think we're in a good place now.
Yeah, and you know, look, if you episode 3, especially 3B, it's a good fountain of sympathy for Mr. Charles, because clearly he went through a lot as a boy, but that gets course corrected, to say the least, in episode 4. I mean, it's quite glamorous, his deception.
It is glamorous, yeah.
It's not moral.
Yeah, absolutely not. So in episode 4, when Jesse separates from the group to go be by himself with his horse, who he loves and names Quarter, because he has great naming skills. Charles and Helix are left alone, and it's interesting because out of the trio, those two are the ones who have the most in common. You know, like they both have issues with a parent. Not necessarily to the same degree, but they both have, like, family drama and problems, you know? They both are into parties and just having a good time, and they would much rather, like, keep things enjoyable at the surface level than go deeper and be vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting seeing that dynamic at the very start of this episode be like, this should be time for them to just have fun and, like, do silly things.
Yeah, and we needed it.
Yeah, we really did. It's been nonstop torture for all of these people.
Yeah, we needed it, and we need it before the final episode, which is...
Yeah, the finale.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a little bit of wine making, but after that, it is not a joyride.
Yeah. All right. Is there a place that you'd like to go in 4A?
4A, I love Jesse meeting the kid.
Okay. Let's do that one, and then before that, I would love us to listen to the introduction of the skating rink.
Oh yeah.
Because the audio design, like the sound design that you did for that, it's so bananas.
This was such a fun episode.
We had so much music set for this episode too. It was so fun to do. We had so it's this very volatile like setting. We're in the one of the most dangerous places in the West where people constantly died, and then in the horizon you see a skating rink. Straight out of the 1980s, which is why it's called the roller disco episode. And when we get there, it's just fun and it's music and it's great. Shout out to the Bins for giving us the music that we're going to hear in the setting right now. Shout out to Gemini, who wrote a song for episode 4B for us, which is amazing and beautiful. And, of course, shout out to Peach Face. JT.
Yeah, come on, Peach Face.
Yeah, JT's project as well, for a lot of the music in this in these episodes.
Yeah, we can jam out to those moments because those are so fun.
They're so fun. Maybe around.
But yeah, like what is it? Is it like maybe 7 minutes in whenever they first walk into the doors?
Maybe, yeah. Actually, you're right. It's probably a lot sooner. Let's try here.
Dre? Is that a god of wagons?
So we start to hear the music there in the background. I don't think we've gone in yet. Dre, the god of wagons. Oh yeah, it's like right around here. Actually, this is like one of our first like racial moments as well in the show. So this is when the trio's trying to get into the roller rink. So this particular area, which is frick, where is this? It's Utah, right?
This is in
Idaho.
Yeah.
Yes, ants. So this area is called the Craters of the Moon, I think. Yeah. So it's like this national park now, and it's this old volcano, and there's like hardened magma everywhere. It's inactive, but it's hot as balls. It's windy as hell. It's so hard to like walk through, and this was going directly through the Oregon Trail. However, this was also prime spot for war between U.S. colonialists and the native tribes around this area. So they're in this very volatile area, and all of a sudden they see shelter.
No, he's a human. Was a human. My friend from before I got banished.
I see. Well, at least we found shelter.
Well, rinks aren't 100% friendly to 100% of people. The 80s were barely better than the 70s. Jeez, I remember some girls putting on lighter foundation just to get past the bouncer. It was totally fucked.
I don't know much about this area, but I know it ain't different than the rest of America.
Though I'm sure at least Helix would. Well, no. Perhaps, I must admit that your complexion isn't technically...
White?
Charles, make yourself useful. Me and Helix ain't looking down a rifle's mouth for a damn roller sink or whatnot. Get in there and find out what's what.
I don't suppose
Charles,
I
make yourself useful.
Change to lend me.
No, but I do got the horse carrying all our food and canteens.
Wait in case.
I'll resolve the matter myself then.
Maybe it's a little bit further ahead. Yeah, it's right there. So this is when they're finally going inside.
No. It appears that the establishment was found by nearby Shoshone and serves all sorts. She said it's the only neutral ground through the Snake River Plain.
Party.
So good. Skates flying by.
The ashen wilderness outside the building seemed a better fate. Soon as we walked...
Sorry. Every time Jesse's seeing the most amazing, fun thing and going, I'd rather go out to the wilderness.
He's just like, nah. Fuck this. Is that a good place, or should we hear more? The rest is just setting description. Really.
Yeah, we can go to what is the other moment in A side?
You said Jesse and the kid.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. Yeah.
Okay. So after this, Helix and Charles go skate, and Jesse finds stables inside of the roller rink, because that's what this kind of roller rink is like. And he goes to hang out with the horses by himself, and while he's there, he meets a child. Probably around here, maybe?
If I
No.
It began to make sense.
Nope.
was on the money.
There you are, girl.
There it is.
Found you a nice place to rest for the night. Let's get you on saddle, too.
Pumping music.
How's that? Lucky you can't hear all that nonsense in there. Might join you tonight rather than stick with those two. At least you keep your opinions to yourself.
They can't answer you.
It's so good.
Thank you.
When I turned my head, I saw a kid poke his head out from a stack of hay in the back. Little bits of it stuck out from his head. Yeah? How do you know? You two old friends?
No. Horses can't talk.
He wiped his nose on the sleeve of his fur coat, which looked far too big to be his.
Why aren't you with everyone else celebrating? Don't you have any friends? Is that why you were talking to the horse like it's people? I heard that sometimes people who don't have friends get so lonely they start talking to things and acting funny.
Where's your mom, Pa, kid? He
I
wiped
love
his dirty nose
this
again.
glimpse into like who Jesse is outside of
outside and wait for him
the
to follow me.
circumstances of like, you know, hunting down these people. Like just a moment of Jesse being Jesse.
Yeah, just being a dude who is good with kids and just, you know, kind of likes the quiet pieces of the world.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one to choose.
It's so cute.
Yeah. It's the second time in one season where Jesse's like, I'm gonna go be nice to this child right now.
Mm-hmm. And this time it doesn't get him in trouble.
This time it doesn't get him in trouble, exactly. This time it doesn't get him killed.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man. 4B. I mean, I feel like we should just hear the scene where Charles is skating, right? We gotta hear Limelight.
Oh yeah. Charles's Peach Face, and then we transition into Helix and Limelight, and I think they're back to back, right? So
yeah, that's true. We can hear both of them because we can hear both
yeah.
of like the amazing songs. Probably like here-ish, maybe.
Making and how he succeeded.
No, it's for before.
And leapt in.
Yeah, way earlier. Wow.
Proud like I was Buffalo Bill or something.
So in episode 4A, what ends up happening is Charles and Helix make this bet. And the bet is essentially, hey, if Charles wins at a skating competition, which this roller rink happens to be having, then Charles will get the next power of this next tower, since Jesse was able to get a tower power. And for Helix, if she wins, she gets to use her powers on Charles. So that's where the mood ring thing comes up again, which is basically her threatening him with the truth. So he gets desperate and he gets freaked out because she is the god of sound. So she's bound to be a very good and talented dancer and roller skater. and he calls out for help for Emmy, and instead he gets Spectra, Helix's older sister who hates her fucking guts.
Right.
And Spectra, who's all about visuals, since she is the messenger god of sight, tells him that they're just gonna cheat, and she's gonna make him look amazing. Yeah.
And oh, does she?
Oh, does she? Yeah. So then we get our little skating montage.
Holy fuck, Mom. The whole thing was killer. Everyone
is
had
it-
so much fun. There was a nice young couple who did a few turns on the rink, then crossed their arms and linked their hands, and did a few synchronized kicks along with the music before spinning together in something like a waltz. Then a woman in men's clothing hit the crowd with a sassy two-step. After a few others, it was finally my turn.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Helix is first.
I started with a bit of backwards walking, some
Limelight
cross
by
steps,
Gemini.
a couple of spins on a single skate, and then I hit them with everything else.
Such a good song, too. The skate sounds so good.
Yeah, I mean, Gemini just crushed it with that 80s sound.
It's so good. She's amazing. Our website is on the screen right now, and if you check out our website, there's a music section, and you can find every artist who made music for this episode
I
there.
ended into splits with the backs of my hands
Yeah, being
over
like,
my
it is
eyes.
a banger.
For a moment,
It
while
really
all I
is.
could see was my skin glowing red from the lights above, I just listened to them. Their applause, the recognition.
Aww, Helix getting her flowers.
Yeah. Well,
Then,
considering that
it was
like
Charles's
everyone in the heavens just shits on her all the time.
I passed him and joined the rest of the
No.
crowd behind the
Poor
red
baby.
wall.
Yeah.
Charles nodded at
And then
me
Charles
he
comes and
glided
crushes her
over
dreams.
the area.
Charles comes and is just like,
Quickly
I don't know how I'm gonna make this work,
Smoke.
but it's gonna work.
I couldn't tell you a damn thing about where the fog came from. Seems like it lifted from
Not
the
the
floor,
fog.
honestly. Then the lights turned off. A single spotlight illuminated him.
Here comes the peach face.
Oh, come on, Peach Face.
Such a good song too. This one did you release?
Yeah, that one's on Spotify. Yeah, my little
Charles lifted
pre-hyperpop
one hand
experiment.
into the light.
It's so good.
Where did he find gloves? Well, he suddenly had them. It had rhinestones on the palms.
JT,
He
man of
flashed
many
his hands
talents.
out and spun in figure
Much like
eights.
Charles.
Charles combed
Come on,
through
Charles.
the
I
fog,
wish I could
drawing
dance like
lines
Charles.
of air with his fingers, and then he
Because I just need
disappeared
Spectre's help for that.
into the clouds.
To meet a German ballet dancer too.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
When the beat dropped, he emerged 6 feet off the ground, out from the fog and landing perfectly on one foot. The crowd was just totally losing it. I mean, shit, I was losing it. Where did he get all these moves? I mean, he was good before, but this was fucking amazing.
backflip coming up. I just remembered it.
Oh yeah.
Charles closed his routine by placing the backs of his hands over his eyes, just like I did in my routine. But the rhinestones added quite the flair.
Very glamorous.
It looked like he had stars for eyes. He soared through the clouds faster and faster until he literally became a blur of white suit and diamond eyes. It was the fastest I'd ever seen someone skate. And right as the song ended, he shot his arms backward and leapt into the air.
Yeah, let's go, Charles.
Landing the wrong way could mean a broken neck. I mean, I've seen joints pop out on the rink floor, but no.
Such
No,
a fun
not Charles.
episode.
The spotlight followed him in the air as he landed a perfect forward acceleration backflip, one of skating's most legendary moves.
That line.
And I couldn't believe it. Not the skating thing, I guess, because Charles is full of surprises, like he said, but my power? Charles just won my power.
Helix just lost a bet.
Yeah.
And
she's a woman of her word. She sticks to it.
she does stick to it, and she's a good sport after this, which is amazing. But
Classic Helix.
can't bet against a con man.
No, don't do it.
Yeah.
Not when he's making deals with multiple gods.
Yeah, just like back to back, constantly making deals, doing shady stuff, and you know what? At the end of the episode, he suffers some of those consequences as well, which is
Oh, yeah.
It gets dark. And speaking of dark,
Oh, that goblin cry.
oh, that goblin cry! Oh my god, you need to tell folks where that title came from as well, because I love how you titled your episodes.
Yeah, so that goblin cry comes from this poem called Goblin Market, which is it's by, I think her name's Christine or Christina Rossetti. She's just, a really fabulous poet that's, not talked about enough, but it's about these sisters that are being sort of lured to the goblin market because there's all of these like fancy gems and jewels that are like distracting them. It's just about deception. It's about being naive a little bit and the necessary steps it takes for like these girls to grow up and to start learning to mistrust people or to at least trust their impulses and instincts. And this one, the title, I think it's a line in the poem, that goblin cry, the cry of the goblin to like get attention, because there's some really unfortunate deception in this episode and some realizations that everybody makes about as much as Charles is mistrustful, as much as Helix is an anomaly, as much as Jesse's focused on his own mission, if they don't stick together against the world, it's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what they get by the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like it's sorry, Beanloaf, it's kind of long.
Less than 100 words, but this is a short story. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a long poem. But it is amazing, and I do think it's very apt for this episode, like you were saying, like the deceptions that happen in this episode, and instead of like gems and jewels and all that beautiful stuff, instead you get the thing that distracts our trio the most: parties.
Yeah. Parties. and lots of ale.
Lots of ale, which Jesse cannot stomach at all. It's like moonshine, and he immediately chokes.
Baby.
Yeah. For all of you watching who are fans of true crime, especially, highly recommend this episode. It's a doozy.
What?
It's a doozy. So, Charles, Jesse, and Helix arrive in Fort Keough, or a fictionalized version of Fort Keough, which is in Montana. Am I right?
You're You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, Montana. So they arrive at this abandoned fort, and it's been taken over by hippies. Essentially, it's a commune. So they come across this commune, and this commune is having a party. They're having a celebration, and when the three arrive, looking for shelter and also for a good time, they slowly their wants, their most the things that they long for the most but are ultimately superficial, those things are met, and they are distracted and ultimately separated. What's a good place to start at with this episode? Because I know the last scene is like the one I'd like to visit, because that one's good.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so here we have, well, they enter, they kind of gather around the fire. Charles talks with the commandant. I think a Helix scene here. In A, Helix has a pretty like you said, it's this episode's a lot to do with cult, so they like satisfy this deep longing each person has, and it's able to like lure them apart. So yeah, Helix is pretty particular, and I think that like it's set up here a little bit in A side. I forget where it's at. It might be toward the end when her and Mata start chatting a little bit.
Yeah, it's toward the end, that final scene where things get a little crazy. That's the very last scene, I know for sure. Maybe we should just start there.
So if there's anything before that you're thinking of,
anything before that, well, we've shown quite a few party scenes at this point. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything that really stands out in particular. I mean, I like a lot of things. Like I love when the three of them are just sort of enjoying each other's company at the beginning before they split off. Because it is one of the few moments where we actually have them having fun, sort of, together, all three of them. Helix's party rules are great. That could be a good place.
I like that. That was a cute moment. Yeah.
You froze a little. I'm gonna look for it as maybe you.
Oh no, am I making a ridiculous face?
No, you just
I'm
look
scared.
very serious.
Tana, we're in a...
Well, I'll just hold that then. No, let me reset my video.
Alcohol had the...
Okay.
Alright, it'll fix itself.
I think this is
It
probably...
seemed the resident west.
But hey, at least now I can get tipsy. These people know how to party. Here, I got a mug for each of us.
What's in it?
A most foamy delight.
Oh. Hope you've got a stomach, Jesse. This shit is strong. Well?
Tastes like boot.
But the trained tongue would call it citrique with piney undertones, no?
He's so obnoxious, I love him.
I say boot.
Ugh, whatever. Let's
I
toast.
say boot. He keeps
All right,
drinking.
boys, I'm going that way. Let's meet at that flagpole in, let's say, 30? Oh, and don't leave your drinks alone.
Pardon?
Do what?
Oh, okay, right. Warehouse rules. In the city, a party could show up at any time, at any place. A parking garage, a rail yard, an abandoned bodega. But most of the time, in the 80s, the other 80s, the one that's 100 years away, it was old warehouses. And while they had a certain je ne sais quoi that I loved, they could get pretty sketchy. Yeah, Mom, I know. As a god, I didn't need to worry, but I had human friends. So we made the warehouse rules. Check in every half hour, watch your drinks, and most of all, most important, most essential, don't make out with randos.
Yeah, Helix.
Yeah, don't make out with randos.
See that flag over there? The one with the hand reaching up to the sun. So in half an hour, we'll meet beneath. Then some old woman stepped right between us. Like, literally stepped right in front of me while I was talking. and just
So the warehouse rules is actually, I saw that phrase when I was listening. I was looking at 80s music. I was listening to 80s music on YouTube, and somebody left a comment on, I forget his name. He was like a really early synth producer. And Daft Punk worked with him, or yeah, I don't remember his name, but there was a comment that was this woman saying, "Hey, I remember dancing to this in this city that in where I grew up, and it was so fun. And me and the girls had the warehouse rules because it was like that's where they danced. They danced in warehouses. I don't know if it was in New York, but she kind of like briefly alluded to this idea that like you meet up every 30 minutes, you do a high five or whatever, and then you meet up 30 minutes later, do the same thing, and they always made sure to watch each other's drinks or never leave it unattended. And I was like, the comment was just sort of like a random thing to leave on this video, but it was like, wow, like I really thought about that for a while.
Yeah.
So that's why Helix says that. I thought that was really useful.
That's so good. I didn't know that. That's a really good moment too. I love that the like warehouse rules. It's one of those moments that sticks out for me in the season, but in particular this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, like she's looking out for them. She is a goddess, but
Yeah.
still like
Yeah, but still, it is a really sweet moment though. And like when you think about it, like the guy's deep lore drop right here says "Be love." You're right. Yeah. But it is like a sweet moment because it's the guys typically act like they're the ones taking care of Helix to an extent. Definitely Jesse does. In part because he has her immortality, in part because that's the kind of guy Jesse is, chivalry and all that.
Yeah.
So it is really nice that there's this moment where she's like, y'all are out of your depths. I know how we're going to be safe here.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you have the, she's supposed to, in the both of the boys' minds in a way, she's the, what's the name? The something in distress?
The damsel.
Damsel in distress.
Yeah.
But the reason that primary reason that women have to protect each other at dance halls and stuff like that is because of men who historically have, done things and unfortunate stuff like that. So it's interesting that Helix is telling the two men in her party, hey, watch your drinks, boys, and then like walking off. Like it's just a real like, I'm not the damsel. Like I'm looking out for you too, and you two both deserve to be looked after. It's like it is. It's a sweet moment.
It is sweet. And then none of them proceed to follow the warehouse rules.
No, not at all.
Well, except Charles. Charles does go to the flagpole. He's the only one who goes to the flagpole, which is, I love that, like the irony that he's the only one who listens.
He's so frustrated.
And like he gets annoyed with Jesse. He's just like, I've been waiting there forever. Nobody showed up. And Jesse's just like, yeah, she wandered off with some guy. It's fine. Yeah, and then after this, Charles has a wonderful moment where he gets to laud an audience with his tales and just get all sorts of praise because he's the funniest guy in the room. We see the return of the calf joke from his prelude from episode 0A. And Jesse gets enticed by the nerdiest and, of course, the only thing that would take him away, which is a library.
Yep.
A woman shows up and tells him, I know that you're a smart individual, and do I have the thing for you? Lamau. Being love.
Yeah, like when you arrive at a abandoned U.S. Army fort that has been taken over by a bunch of hippies, and one of them walks up to you and says, "Hey, I have a deep suspicion that you need a library. You might be in a pickle."
You might be in a pickle, yeah. But Jesse goes to the library. Charles goes and hangs out with the commandant. And parties with them, and Helix is swept away by a charming farmer boy who's nice.
Oh yeah, he's a nice guy.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice guy. And we get to this the scene. Yeah? Unless there's something else you'd like to hear. But I think this is
Mm-mm.
yeah. Commandant.
Hat over my head.
Okay. I think here. Oh. There it is.
Oh yeah, the music box throughout this episode.
It's so creepy. So
Mhm.
good.
Almost. Remember, thumb on the top. Throw it fast, not hard.
Mata came up behind me, the brim of his straw hat over my head. Then he pinched my middle finger and moved it beneath the stone. Finally! Oh my gods, I feel like I threw it at least 100. And then Mata turned me around and leaned forward. He kissed me. Oh. Oh no. No, 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 no. Don't make that face. I don't mean oh, like
I thought I'll just jump in the river.
oh, shut up. No, it was unexpected. It's fine, Mata. He looked defeated, hands in his pockets, staring at the ground.
There isn't much time is all. Better a fool than a big coward.
Ugh, don't have a cow. It's fine, okay? Wait, what do you mean, not much time? Mata looked out into the fields behind us, all the makers plucking away at the cherries, placing them into their bags.
Helix, if you wanted, I mean, no one is watching us.
I used to never feel alcohol. I used to never bleed. I used to never feel my heart drop until right there, in the orchard. But Mata couldn't know. He couldn't know that gods can't make love to humans. It drives them crazy. It makes them unhealthy. Because I've seen it. I've seen it. And I will never have another Dre. No. I learned my lesson. But there was something else Mata couldn't have known. Something that he said. These past few weeks, going from town to town, we meet all sorts of people. Bandits, underground worshippers, roller rink DJs. Sometimes we're friends and sometimes we're not. But this is a totally strange and dangerous world to be mortal in, especially as someone who doesn't know how to be mortal. So I'm very, very careful about giving out my name. Mata, I know we've spent the past day together, so it would seem natural, but I never told you my name. He reached up to his straw hat and removed it. Then he snapped his fingers. All those makers in the field, the ones that weren't watching, they stood straight and turned. Cherries fell from their hands. Dozens of makers. They started walking, then running toward me. When they looked at Mata, they called him Seer. The Seer.
Such a scumbag.
Here they come.
Here they come.
Seer, I have the rope. Give the word.
Yes, bind her.
Oh,
And
yeah,
send
the
word to
song.
Eve.
Yeah.
We're en
Samuel.
route with the sacrifice.
That Frick. So, again, for those of you who had just shown up a while ago, that's that music, the score is by our amazing composer Samuel Kinsella, and every single episode he wrote a new theme for each episode that had to do with like what's going on there, what's gonna happen, who are we gonna meet. And when we told him this was like our cult episode and it was like pretty dark and it got bad, this is what he came back with, and it was so perfect, and it was
So
like
good.
the right thing to end the episode with.
Yeah. That powerful old like hair metal guitar.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. All right, finale.
Finale, baby.
5B, that goblin cry. So everything's gone bad. The trio split up. They're in the middle of a freaking cult. They're nowhere near each other. This fort has been split up into 3 different sections. So there's the maker section, there's the oh my gosh, I forgot the names. There's the makers,
There's like the makers, the keepers, and
yes,
the thinkers.
the keepers and the thinkers. Yes, the keepers and the thinkers. So the thinkers, obviously, that's where the library is. So they're the philosophers. They're the ones who like do all the mental shit there. They're the ones that are like kind of organized around this secret religious sect. And then there's the keepers who keep the order, hence the commandant. So Charles is with the keepers, Jesse is with the thinkers, and Helix is with the makers. And among the makers, the seer is the cult leader. Oh. Yeah. Is pretty classic cult leader, just tries to take advantage of the women he's lured into his cult. Yeah. So now what's next? What should we tell them? Where should we go?
Well, yeah, we have quite a bit here. We have
a lot to
Charles arriving. I mean, like, honestly, we could probably start from when Charles shows up and tries to like scare Jesse by pretending to be
the commandant.
And then after that, they march towards getting Helix out of the tower, although she gets herself out of the tower.
Yeah. 'Cause she's
and
not
then
a
just
damsel.
the true finale really kind of happens there.
Yeah, okay. So, Jesse, during his time with the Thinkers, he lets them believe that he's just sort of like looking through their books, but he actually goes and finds their actual texts and finds out, hey, this is a secret cult. They have some sort of weird religion where they're trying to sacrifice people, and they're looking for a firmament. Meanwhile, Charles has just woken up hungover in the keeper section and is hearing outside of his door the commandant, who is a very silly man with a very nasally voice, suddenly being this horrifying figure who is slaughtering his people and slaughtering the believers of this like cult religion, sacrificing all of these people and throwing out orders to really kill everyone. And Helix has been trapped as the firmament. She is the one that they have been waiting for. Now, what that means, we don't really know. Oh, another thing that is kind of important for this is the towers. They have a bunch of fake towers in this section. So they have 12? Is it 12 or 11? 11.
Yeah, they have 12. Oh, yeah, they have 11 towers and then one in the middle being the 12.
11 towers and one in the middle, all in a circle around this fort. Or not around the fort, in the maker section, right?
Yeah, at the very back, yeah.
At the very back. And Jesse has realized that there's something important about that. and we're about to see what's going on there. And in episode 4, because Charles won the bet, he has one of Helix's powers, and that power is to manipulate sound. Where is it? Maybe around here?
She would be our great...
Oh, no.
It's
Don't
Beach.
fuck with me.
Oh yeah, Jesse's about to leave.
Yeah.
Now where are y'all?
Oh, and Jesse just like single-handedly with a pen killed
Once I
everybody.
busted out the library, went round the building and caught sight of those great pylons old Eve was riding about. Far off and away, they lit up the field like 12 lighthouse beacons. But that wasn't no fire on top of those towers. They seemed charged up from something else, glowing.
Yeah, so
hear 'em
what's
humming
happening there is like there's a circle of towers that the worshippers here revere, and only one of those towers is the real tower. It's the 5th tower, which of course we're in the 5th episode. It's the 5th tower they're approaching. So Jesse's connecting the dots that there must be more towers. Like he's kind of slowly connecting. Like if this is the 5th tower that we're getting to, and the 5th tower in the circle is the only real one, maybe there's something going on like in the bigger picture. And
Yeah.
I think Helix is the one that finishes the job of making these connections.
Yeah.
You there.
All's good.
I must have fooled you.
You were a heartbeat away from getting sent to the sticks.
Indeed? Now, perhaps I have a late-stage career at the Gaiety Theater.
Save it. We're in shit here. You know where Barefoot is?
Ah, about that. See, the only information I have is of some sacrifice. The Commandant spoke of some ornament. This dreary place could certainly use one.
Seems we were in the wrong place, right time.
I just think that moment's really
Other
cute.
way around.
But yeah, we
It's
could probably
so
skip
cute.
ahead to Helix, like jumping out the tower.
Yeah, that's a good place. So Charles and Jesse run around trying to figure out where the fuck Helix is, and they find the congregation sort of worshipping at the foot of the seer Mata, who is making announcements about them having the ornament, and now that the firmament beckons, and they can get on with their the show, basically. So they have Helix trapped and tied inside a fake tower. I think it's about here, maybe.
Oh, must have been made from wood plank.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Of time. Do you receive dream? Forge,
Hold
let
on.
the sacrifice begin. We shall forge a paradise. Goddess of my dreams, Empress of time.
Oh,
Do
who
you
is that?
receive our sacrifice?
Empress of Time. So good.
That laugh. I know this voice, this woman he speaks of.
And so the villain is unmasked.
After that wild man's ranting, me and Charles started hearing a loud knocking. Sounded like someone shouting from behind the wall. The only direction was up, inside that buzzing central tower. Suppose Helix never did play the damsel. There she was, kicking a hole out of the tower wall. Must have been made from wood planks with metal etchings. She broke through a soft spot, her bare foot poking out into the air. Then she kept kicking and punching until a sizable hole showed in the tower. Helix poked her head out. Bad news was, soon as folks looked up at the tower, watching old Barefoot peep out the top, they started noticing me and Charles. All the hundreds of them, slowly rising up from the earth and turning our way. They looked to get rid of us, one way or another, sacrifice or nuisance. 7 thinkers with knives, that's no problem. But hundreds of deranged Montana fools, all we could do was try and get out of there alive. Folks started ganging up, closing in.
I love
Sam
Ivory's
Charles was waiting for the right moment.
Jesse's
And
storytelling
what he
around the
did,
campfire,
good
you
on
know, keeping everybody on the edge of their seats kind of way of telling the story.
It's so good. Ivory has this approach to like the narration that I just adored. Like, he brought it up early on into the season when we were working on like how to differentiate between the narration and the in scene, and he always said that like when he's narrating, because he knows Jesse's writing things down, he approaches it the way that he writes things down, like Ivory as a person, which is I'm writing things down to work through them and to figure them out and figure out how I feel about them. So like whenever he acts it, it's just so intentional and so like curious, and it just draws you in. I think that is definitely like the storytelling quality that comes with like his approach.
Yeah, I agree.
Should we continue or should I jump forward a little bit? What are you thinking?
We can jump forward, yeah, because them getting out of the fort is a special moment too.
Is maybe around here?
Metal bits seemed it was always meant to explode.
Yeah. Here.
Scout, and yet poor Sonny has just been massacred.
Oh, yeah.
That ogre just...
No time.
11 more towers in this field to scout, and yet poor Sonny has just been massacred by that troll.
Poor Sonny.
Poor Sonny. They killed Mata at this point, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. In a very brutal
well,
way.
If they're still ringing the bells, I don't know.
5. One bell tolled when we showed up, and
Yeah, I
2
think
this
so.
morning.
Right.
Because now they're talking.
It rang
They're not in a
2 more
rush.
times when that piece of shit dragged me here.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, am I to guess what the 5th bell told me?
Ooh, electricity.
Come on, 1880s.
Yeah.
We had our answer immediately. That huge central tower erupted, lit up like a pyre and shattered into wood strips and metal bits. Seemed it was always meant to explode. If Helix was still inside it, she'd be nothing but scraps too. Figured we were meant to be there too. Me and Charles, the thinker and maker for their little sacrifice.
Yeah.
And what for? Or for who?
That's the question. Jesse's the only one who wouldn't recognize Emmy's laughter. He's the only
Yeah,
one.
poor Jesse's like, y'all know what's going on?
But far afield,
Oh, you're frozen
4
again.
of those great pylons went
Oh
crashing
no.
down, each
Hold on.
right next
Ow.
to each other, going left to right. One tower,
There we go.
a second tower, a third tower, a fourth tower surging with electricity and exploding into bits, then tumbling. The heavy metal rubble crashed right down into the stone walls of the fort. Look, those towers burst a hole in the fort wall. It's our chance. We can climb the rubble and get out.
But 4 towers down? She's sending me a message. She's fucking with me. I know it.
Who?
Yes, who? I've no idea.
Emmy. These towers. Listen, you heard Mata, right? The seer, whatever his name is. He talked about a time goddess. I heard her laugh. All of this, it's Emmy. She's manipulating human lives to fuck with me. Those 4 towers that exploded, it's like the 4 towers we've come across already. She's mocking us. She's telling me that she's been watching. We're just in a stupid fucking game with her. You hear that, Emmy? Fuck you. Fuck you for manipulating these people. Fuck you for leading us here. Fuck you.
We don't have time for this. Once these cold assholes get the gumption, they'll stampede us.
Right. Follow me.
On the run again. Always on some chessboard.
Yep.
As we made way toward the busted ramparts, noticed Helix's feet all bloody. Must have been from kicking a hole in the wall. And behind us, them cult folks were charging after, waving their knives around. Helix sent her bird thing back to confuse them, and Charles with his
Her
son
bird thing.
Powers.
He's had so many opportunities to meet, like, really
trying to
remember Coda.
Yeah, they've been together for months now. And he's just like,
Oh, good.
I refuse.
Send us
That
to the
damn
horses.
bird.
The damn bird.
I'm gonna run to that tower. Gut feeling.
What are
Charles is breathing.
He's so out of shape.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
She went right off toward
So
the next
good.
pylon. Had the towers went on collapsing, it would have been the next to explode. The 5 o'clock hen. Helix had it in her gut. Was the 5th tower. Suppose it made sense in her own way.
Time
Come on.
crunch. She's
Get your
gonna
horse and
lose
let's
it.
go. Helix, listen.
I touched it. I touched the tower. Nothing happened yet, but I.
Well, I'll be threaded.
Soon as she slapped that 5th tower, not 10 feet later, it charged up and exploded, bringing down more of Brent City's walls. If Helix's head went up just a few moments late, she'd be dead now.
This isn't over, Emmy.
Horses ready!
Up the rabble. Let's go. We mounted up. Charles on his, Helix hers, me on quarter. Then we charged over the ramparts rubble, looking out onto the long Montana nothing. Bunch of cold green nothing. And no beeping machine to guide us.
I love
Behind
this
us,
last monologue.
We waited for more towers to explode. None did. Helix led the pack, galloping forward. She didn't want us to see it, but I did. The tears falling from her face, her flapping the reins in anger. Seems she discovered something there, in that central tower, about everything going on.
Helix, have you received a new power?
Does it matter? It's not useful right now. Just keep writing. I want to get the fuck away from here.
And sad anime
rode
moments.
Yeah.
Eventually, Helix settled out from the funk, told us of her return power, some ability to read emotions. Charles asked what he was feeling. She said he was nervous, and for some reason, guilty. Charles didn't talk after that. For me, Barefoot said I was contemplative. Suppose that's true. As we trekked out from Miles City, Brink City, whatever, the sky opened, like a curse was lifted. Sun came out and shined our way, our aimless way, toward what we could only assume was another tower. Was there another tower? I think so. Counted 12 towers, one in the middle. 11 circled round the field in a
The
ring.
sound design is A+,
Four
says
fell down,
Beanloaf. Thank you.
7 stood high.
Thank you, Beanloaf.
7 towers. They're out there, waiting for us. All we've got to do is survive that long. 7 towers, and Barefoot gets her powers back. 7 more towers, and I get rid of this immortality curse. Then, only then, can I get my revenge. I will avenge you, Jacob Rogers. Like Joshua and the walls of Jericho, the impossible was made real. He broke them walls down. He rose. I will rise.
Such a good line to end the season on.
Oh, Jesse's such a badass.
Jesse's so cool.
We're like geeking out over the nerdy cowboy that.
Yeah. We love making fun of him for like being such a nerd, but oh, he's so good.
Yeah, Beanloaf, I agree. Like the cast is so phenomenal. Like we're just so lucky.
Yeah, we are. They're all incredibly talented. I mean, Jesus. Yeah. And Ivory with that Franken accent is so good.
Oh, I know.
Oh man,
it's so good. Yeah, that was fun. Like it was so fun, revisiting these
Yeah.
fun moments.
I'm just like checking out different moments, different scenes that stood out from the season to us. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out.
Yeah.
This went a little longer than our last few streams. This went an hour longer. If you're not gonna lie, I haven't listened to the season because I just never got around to, but this stream going through clips really makes me want to go through the season. You should.
Yeah, we
That's
hope you
fun.
do.
Yeah, I mean, we put our blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you let us know what you think, Beanloaf. Like, I know you just followed us on Twitter, so tweet at us. We love to
Yeah.
like chat with people on our social medias. We also have a Tumblr.
Yeah.
Fernanda puts amazing memes on. If you
Very
Tumblr.
ridiculous memes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all did an amazing job, at least so far from what I've heard. Thank
Oh,
you.
that's sweet. Thank you.
Very sweet. Well, our website's on the screen. We are, for everybody in the chat and everybody who watches this VOD on YouTube, all of our VODs throughout this like whole fundraising campaign, we're putting them all up on YouTube on our channel, which is also on the screen. Which is where these episodes with the waveforms are. So if you're not if you're a fan of like putting things on the screen on like YouTube instead of pulling up Spotify, we have the entire season in a playlist on our YouTube. You can also see the full behind the scenes, the full score, previews for like trailers for the season. As well as the live stream VOD. So if you have missed any, the one from 2 weeks ago is up. After this stream is over, last week's VOD will go up as well, our cooking stream. And then next week, this one will go up. And next week, we'll be having our final live stream. It'll be 2 days before our Season 2 fundraising campaign is over, so we're just we're 9 days away from the end. And next week we're gonna do something a little sillier. JT, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. What are we doing next Friday?
It was your idea.
Wait, are
Bruh.
we doing the Jackbox? What are we doing?
No, we're not doing Jackbox. We're doing our high school AU.
That's right. Oh my god, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was
I
your
completely
idea. It was such a
forgot.
fun idea too.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, that I'm so excited to do. That's gonna be really fun.
So we're gonna be writing an episode live with input from whoever's in the chat. So if you want to make it weird, well, you know, anything that's said in the chat will be heavily considered, and we'll try to make it work. Honestly, so we're gonna write a high school alternate universe episode with the trio and Emmy and maybe some other characters.
And if we get lucky, we might convince the cast to record that, whatever, how long that script is. But later on, maybe that would be really fun.
That would be really fun. We'll do that later on. But tomorrow we'll be writing it live and in person. So if anybody's curious about how we go about writing an episode, you'll be seeing it live and in person.
Yeah. That's next Friday at 8 or 8 Central, 6 Pacific.
Yeah, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern for anybody who's curious and wants to join us. Follow us on our social medias. On our TikTok, we're posting highlights from these VODs as well. And please, everybody who's watching, consider sharing at the very least. If you're feeling generous, donating to our fundraising campaign. We're a little bit away from 30% of funds being raised, and it would be really cool if we could get there this week and hopefully push for 50% next week. But we'll see how far we get.
We just got to 30.
We did?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, that's
I don't know how we
amazing.
got to 30. I don't know what the update was. But
Well,
we
we're
got
at
to
30. That's amazing. Thank you for donating. But yeah, we'll be back here again next week, and thank you for hanging out. And Beanloaf, thank you for chatting. It really helps as well.
Thanks, Beanloaf.
Anything else before we go, JT?
No. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Friday.
Yeah, it was a fun stream. Thank you. Glad you had fun. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night, JT.
Good night.
Thank you for the follow lead by Valkies.